Hey, Con. What the hell?
We're about a minute out.
Why does this sound okay? Is something going on here? Do I sound crazy, or is
No,
there?
you sound. No, you sound. You
Oh, I think
sound
I had the
normal.
volume. Okay, I had the volume turned up too high.
No, it's fine. Yeah, we got about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a guy who gives edible undies as gifts just because they taste good, Pete Schwaba.
It was only a couple of times. I don't do it regularly. Welcome to Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's great to have you with me on this Tuesday night. And to celebrate our last live show of 2025, I'm wearing a hat. What do you think, Con? I'm trying to be like you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing a hat as well. Yeah, it looks nice. You know, I like the blue.
Yeah, I'm in my home office, which is currently my son's bedroom for the holidays.
Okay.
A house full of people, and it's a little chilly downstairs. So I thought, you know what? I'll try to look cool, hip, and wear a hat. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I'm going with it anyway. Better to be comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's going on at the studio? What am I missing?
You know, it's just me in here. Hopefully the lights don't go out because I get a little scared.
You do get
You know,
freaked out.
Ghosts. I'll tell you this. So remember last night after the show, I was like, you know, we were moving out and it was 82 degrees in my apartment.
Oh, into your new apartment you're talking about.
My old apartment was 82 degrees.
Right.
And when we were moving, yeah. So I go back. I went back today so I could clean a couple more things, and it's 71 in there.
Well, what's that all about?
It's like, why is it colder now in there? Why did it do that before?
How much body heat do you give off? That's my question.
That's what I'm saying. What am I doing wrong?
Well, are you totally out of there now?
Yeah, totally out of there.
Right.
In my new place now. It's a great little spot.
New bachelor pad, living the single life in Green Bay. You could do a lot worse than that in life. Good for you, man.
Exactly.
Right. And your folks are still in town helping you?
Well, they're back by my brother's house in Appleton.
Okay. For those of you listening, last night I was doing the show and a guy went by the window. Kristen Lighty was on. And I even told Kristen this. And the guy's waving like he knows me and I'm waving back. And I said, oh my God, I think I might have accidentally booked another guest. I don't know who this person is. It was Conrad's dad. And I've only seen like a picture of him, but he had a hat on. I didn't recognize him. So I was kind of relieved that I didn't double book a guest. But your dad, having said that, would have been welcome to come on the show and spend a little time with us.
Yeah.
So anyway,
would have been fun.
Yeah, it would have been fun. We've already got a stream comment. Love that. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights says, happy Tuesday. Hey, guys. Hey, Daniel. Great to have you, buddy. Hope you're having a swell Tuesday. As I mentioned, this is our last show of 2025. The rest of the week, we will be playing Nite Lite highlights Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that should be fun, too. Some of our best and most fun moments here from 2025 in the last few weeks. And then we will be back live January 5th. For a whole new round of shows. And then we don't get a day off, Conrad, for 9 months. I don't know if you heard that, but the word came down. We will not be taking any more vacation.
We're going into the gauntlet here.
2 short weeks, and then we're back at it. There's some big news here within Civic Media today, and I don't want to oversell this or get people too excited, but we have a champion in our Civic Media Fantasy Football League, and I'll let you elaborate on it.
Well, I was the runner-up. I was second place. I gave it my all. Like I told them, I didn't give my players a good pep talk, so they didn't show out for me. But
they didn't
Brittany
show
Merlot
up.
is the champion.
Meteorologist extraordinaire, the award-winning Brittany Merlot has dominated the Civic Media Fantasy Football League, of which I was not invited this year, which I'm trying to come to terms with.
Well, you don't pay attention to your players.
I know. And my son, like in his league, he begged me to join. He's like, come on, Dad, you got to do it. And I showed up for the draft. And I don't think I even opened it after that. And it was the same 2 years ago. Rocker brought me into the civic media. And I always mean well. Like I mean to play and pay attention and look at stats and add players and all that kind of stuff and sit guys during the bye. But after the draft, which is fun, I just completely lose interest. I just don't care. In fact, I'm not a gambler. I like to watch my team, or if there's a really good game on, I'll watch parts of that. But I don't study it enough like I'm guessing you and Brittany do.
Well, the thing about this draft is it was auto drafted, and we also do full defensive players. So there's like defensive linemen, there's a linebacker, there's cornerbacks, safeties, defense, punters, kickers. So it's like you really have to pay attention and look in the waiver wires for players and stuff.
Oh, that's
So
really cool.
yeah, I mean it was interesting, that's for sure. I mean Brittany Merlot in the championship had Derrick Henry, and we all know what he did to the Packers.
And that was the game changer right there.
Yeah, I mean
That's your dagger, as
Yeah.
Wayne Larrabee would say.
Yep. Yes, exactly.
Well, that's good for Brittany. She's a football
Yes.
fan. I remember
Yeah.
at the Christmas party a couple of years ago talking to her, and she was a huge football fan, and she does such a great job with weather. I think you could have stepped up your game a little bit and given her more of a run.
I told you I should have gave my players more of a pep talk, you know?
I know, but well, speaking of your players, and Conrad is a huge Packer fan. I don't know if I've ever met a bigger Packer fan. Mike Clemens will be here at 6:10 tonight. We will talk to Mike about the shape of the Packers, what they're going through. I think here's the issue, though, Con. I don't think the injury report comes out until Wednesday with most
Thursday,
teams.
I believe, actually.
Thursday, okay. So we might not know too much about what's happening with Jordan Love or I almost said Mason Rudolph. Where did that come from? Josh Jacobs.
Steelers legend.
I need to know what's going on with Mason Rudolph, Mike. That's why we've asked you here. So we'll talk to Mike at 6:10. Before that, we're going to talk about a great celebration of lights they do in Oshkosh for the last several years. The Oshkosh Celebration of Lights. We'll talk with Rick Helms about that at 5:45. I'm sorry, 5:35, right after news, which comes up. We'll be here in just about 15 or so minutes. News, sports, and weather is on the way. We'll have Rick Helms on to talk about Oshkosh. Mike Clemens will join us to talk Packers and NFL as the playoffs creep ever closer. My pal, Paul Gilmartin, will join the show at 6:35. Paul is a great stand-up comic who used to be the host of Dinner and a Movie on TBS. Did I say Dinner in a Movie? It's Dinner and a Movie.
Yeah.
Can you tell I haven't talked to anyone today?
Yeah, I can.
We got people in the house, so I went over to my brother's cottage and I just camped out there and did work. And honestly, other than a fast Zoom meeting this morning, I was just typing all day. It's a shame I can't type the show because it'd be very legible.
Yeah, do you want to type it to me and I can talk for you?
You can. Exactly. Paul Gilmartin will be here. Paul's very funny. And what a great. Did you ever watch Dinner and a Movie? You know that show?
No, but I really, it sounds a lot of fun.
They remade it. Jason Biggs and Jenny Malin, I think is her name. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they're the new hosts. But Paul and Annabelle Gurwitch hosted it for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And it's such a great, it's one of those ideas where I thought, I wish I would have thought of that pitch. Preparing food while you're watching a movie. It's like an interstitial program. It was so great. Paul will be here at 6:35. And then we're going to talk a little more about Memories Ballroom and the great New Year's Eve show happening there tomorrow night. Jim McHugh, who put the whole show together, will be on the show to discuss. Jim is a very funny guy. And Conrad, you'll appreciate this. Jim is a Packer fan living in Chicago.
Oh,
and
that's
he
awesome.
and I will have a great discussion because I'm a Bear fan living here in Northeast Wisconsin, and Jim is a Packer fan. We're both men without a home, so to speak. So we'll have a fun talk about that. And he brings his Chicago Comedy All-Stars regularly to Memories Ballroom in Port Washington. A great show. And we'll talk to Jim at 7:10. Is that when we have Jim on? And then we'll have
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Kauth will be here from Comedy Sports. He is a head coach at Comedy Sports, and they have a great New Year's Eve show going on too. So lots of options. We're going to keep you guys posted, give you some ideas for what you can do tomorrow night. If you're making last minute plans, you'll definitely want to hear the rest of the show. You got Oshkosh Lights, Mike Kauth and Comedy Sports, and a great show at Memories Ballroom. So we'll do all of that. And throughout the course of the show, it'll be fun. Our last live show of the year, Con. What do you? And people overdo that. They say, "Oh, see you next year." All these great jokes, but It's weird when a year comes to a close, and we've had, I don't know, what do we do, 250 shows or something like that this year? It's
Well, I
crazy.
mean, yeah, we do a lot of shows.
Yeah, well said. He's not the best color man in the business for nothing. I
Well,
was
see you
looking
next year, Pete.
was looking for some philosophical reflection there. So ask me what I did last night when I left the studio, Con.
What did you do last night?
I
When you
went
left
in
the studio.
search for buns, and that's not any nefarious. There's nothing weird about that. For New Year's Eve, we have a party every year, and this year it's at my sister's house, and I bought, have you had a Chicago Italian beef sandwich?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so I got Buena beef. I got 3 tubs of it, and here's where I scored. This is with Pete. Pete, if you ever need bargains, folks, come to me. I'm surprised more people don't ask me for advice anyway, but if you're looking for big savings, they sell it online and they'll deliver it to your house. But it was like $180 for 3 tubs, giardiniera, and the bread. So I realized here in Marinette at Aldi, they sell the tubs for $15 a pop. $45 I paid instead of $180. Got 3 jars of giardiniera for like $10, but I needed buns. I needed good French rolls. Well, last night, Schwaba stopped by Meyer and scored a huge win with, I think, 5 bags of French rolls. Because you got to dip them in the beef juice.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do. So I am all set for New Year's Eve.
Oh,
what do you-
Meyer's great, by the way. I love Meyer.
I haven't been in one in like 25 years. I kind of forgot Wisconsin even had them. You go there a lot?
Well, I mean, it's pretty close to where I live, and I needed a router for my new apartment, and it was like there was one for $50 off. I'm like, I'll take that.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
Myers has big savings.
That's cheaper than my French rolls. I'm kind of annoyed right now. I'm not gonna- So what are you doing on New Year's Eve, Con?
Yeah, I'm going to one of my friends in Milwaukee at Whitefish Bay. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna spend the night at his house.
Fantastic. Well,
Watch the ball drop.
you could watch the big cheese drop. We talked
I
to
know.
Donna Hahn last night, and that would be fun too. But 2 cities in Wisconsin were ranked in the top 100 to spend New Year's Eve in. Let's do the question of the night, and then after the break, I'm going to tell people the 2 best cities in Wisconsin to spend New Year's Eve. They're part of a great list. But right now, it's time for our Nite Lite question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Question.
Questions.
It is National Bacon Day, ladies and gentlemen. Hot fun in the summertime is all I have to say. Bacon is where it's at. If you haven't tried a slice of bacon, definitely indulge. And it leads us to our question of the night, which is, what is your favorite kind of meat? How's that for a vague question? In honor of National Bacon Day, what is your favorite kind of meat? 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can also text us on the app. Or you can, if you're watching the radio on the stream, you can drop us a stream comment like Daniel Berry Sports Highlights did moments ago. If you're at any of these platforms, feel free to give us a like or a follow if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or X. But let us know what your favorite kind of meat is. Be part of the show. We will read your text on the radio. And that's about, Stacy Sue she is on it already. I didn't even get the sentence out. She says turkey.
Turkey's great.
That's meat, right? It's foul, but it's meat.
It's meat.
I always think of like the red meats, but you're right. Turkey is meat. Some people consider fish meat, and that's just not right. So, all right, we're going to do a very quick break. News, sports, and weather is coming up in about 10 minutes. When we come back after this short break, I'm going to tell you the 2 best cities in Wisconsin to celebrate New Year's Eve. We made a list, folks. We made a list. We're not that high up, but we've got 2 representatives, which I think is pretty cool. And we'll do that. I'm also going to tell you about a really cool sculpture in honor of Home Alone that Daniel Stern is doing, involving himself in a spider. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
To bring some loving here today. Picket lines and picket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see what's going on.
Welcome back. It is the eve of New Year's Eve. Kind of a chill day before we party our little butts off tomorrow night. Stacy Sue on the stream says, love bacon though. She said turkey in response to our question of the night, which is, what is your favorite kind of meat in honor of National Bacon Day? Stacy Sue said turkey, but put a disclaimer just now saying she loves bacon. And bacon's a good thing to love. It's healthy. It's good for you, especially if you eat pounds of it in one sitting. It's very good for you. I am Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite. It is great to have you with me on this Tuesday. We are doing our last live show of the year, and we will have highlight shows the rest of the week, so those will be fun too, and we will be back on January 5th. Coming up at 5:35 after news, sports, and weather, Rick Helms will be here. He is the event manager of the Oshkosh Celebration of Lights, which is going on through New Year's. That's kind of cool, Con, that they keep it going through Christmas.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
And that you can add that to your New Year's Eve plans if you're still looking for something to do. Our question of the night, once again, is in honor of National Bacon Day. What is your favorite kind of meat? I think I said bacon, but I might. Bacon's from a pig, right?
Yes.
I had to think about that for a minute. Okay. So I would have to say bacon, or like we had steak on Christmas Day and my dad made it. And I'm not necessarily, like, I like meat. I don't love it. I could probably be a vegetarian if I had to be, but man, was it good. So I'd have to say bacon or steak. What about you?
I would say a nice juicy burger with bacon on top and some freshly squeezed mayo.
That's interesting, because I think I would go, unless the person making the steak was great at it, I would probably go a juicy burger as well with some good condiments. Like, I know it's not as high grade of meat, but man, it's good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I saw this list. This is from Wallet Hub. They listed the top cities for celebrating New Year's Eve. Remember, we kind of got shivved, I thought, on the Christmas list.
Yeah.
Aside from Marinette, which is Christmas City, USA, Wisconsin didn't really represent on the best cities to spend Christmas. We do have two in the top 55. So you know what that means, Con?
Can I take a guess which cities?
One of them is 55th. That's where I'm going with this. So we have two cities in the top 5. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. First one is going to be Milwaukee.
Okay.
And then the second one, I would say Green Bay in the Titletown district.
You are incorrect, sir.
No.
Milwaukee is on the list at number 55,
Okay.
right behind Kewaskum. I'm joking. It's Conrad's hometown. Madison is 44th.
Oh,
So that
okay.
doesn't surprise me. Madison knows how to party, as does Milwaukee. But I'm surprised that on a list of 100 cities, I really thought Green Bay would be on there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, they have a really cool Titletown. They have a really cool celebration there.
Yeah. You've got Orlando, Florida, number 1. I mean, seriously?
It's because of Disney World. There's no other,
Okay.
like, people spending time at Disney World watching, I don't know, whatever
Yeah.
they have dropping there.
All right, fair enough. Number 2, Vegas. Probably the same deal. Number 3, New York, where they dropped the ball. That's weird that New York is number 3. You'd think that would be
Yeah,
number 1 because
yeah.
it gets so much press every year. Number 4, Seattle, Washington.
Okay. Want to bring in the
think
new
it's-
year with some rain.
Exactly. Or some great quarterback play from Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Number 5, Los Angeles. That kind of surprises me. I mean, LA is a fun town, but it's not like, to the best of my knowledge, there isn't like a central like New York where they kind of do the New Year's thing. Chicago is the closest place to us. It's 7th. And then no other Midwest cities until, like, good Lord, St. Louis is 16th. Cincinnati is 19th. St. Paul was somewhere on this list, but I feel like Madison and Milwaukee would be higher just because, and I'm not saying this to suck up, but Wisconsin is kind of a party state. We like our Aki Hall, and I'm surprised these are. I bet no one that made this list has ever celebrated New Year's
Yeah.
in Milwaukee. Would I be wrong to say that?
No, I think they haven't spent time in Wisconsin. A lot of people who make these lists.
I agree. Hey, tell me about Marty Supreme. You saw Marty Supreme.
Oh my God.
Give us the thumbnail. You said it was great. Timothy
was
Chalamet, Gwyneth
fantastic.
Paltrow. Yeah.
It was such a fun movie to watch. I was locked in the whole time. I was just like, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? like the character Marty Mauser, like Timothy Chalamet did him so good. Like,
Really
like
good.
he's kind of a jerk, but like it's because he has a pursuit of this dream, and he won't stop at anything to be the number one, champion for ping pong. And I mean, mainly it's about like, money and stuff like that, but he just wants to win. And like, it's just the whole movie is him trying to win.
Did you see Balls of Fury?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I
The
love that movie.
Or on a nutty night out on the town. Did you like the movie?
Balls of Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I
How
thought
does
it was
this
funny.
compare as ping pong movies
Oh.
go?
Marty Supreme is so much better.
Okay. Wow.
Balls of Fury is kind of like just a joke movie, Just
Yeah. That's Tom
This-
Lennon
thi-
you're talking about there, buddy.
I know. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Just being honest. Yeah.
Marty Supreme, my favorite movie of the year so far.
Wow. No kidding. Okay. I
Not
gotta
even
see
so
that.
far anymore because we,
Yeah.
I haven't seen Avatar yet, but definitely my number one movie.
I think I told you Avatar, like, it's not like I didn't like it, but like the end was, it looked like they just took the end off the second movie and put it on this. I swear to God, you won't even be able to tell the difference. You feel like you're watching the same movie. And the last battle goes on for like 45 minutes. They got all these flying creatures. You don't know who's on what side. And it's insane. But Marty Supreme is definitely on my list, a critic's darling. And also I want to see Song Sung Blue based on the Milwaukee couple who formed the cover band, Neil Diamond tribute band, Lightning and Thunder. So those are on my list this weekend. Lots of show coming up, folks. Great guests. We're going to break for news and weather and sports. And then Rick Helms will be here to tell you about a really cool event they have in Oshkosh that is going on through the weekend. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite. We're coming right back on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And it feels like love. There's a heart like me. And it feels like love. The beat don't stop. We talk so tough. And there's a perfect kiss. Lights of the city put settling down in my brain. Though it's only been a month or so, that old car's bugging us to go. We gotta get away and get back on the road again. Me and you and a dog named Boo, traveling and living off the land. Me and you
From the 97.9 WGBW Newsroom, I'm Stuart J. Waddles with this local news update. Green Bay firefighters were able to save a home from a fire over the weekend, but the garage sustained about $40,000 in damage. Fire crews responded to a house on Liberty Street Saturday to find the garage fully engulfed in flames. Firefighters say the fire was intense due to suspected flammable materials in the garage. Crews were able to stop that fire from spreading to the home. No one was hurt in the fire, but 3 people are out of the house right now. Fire officials say they're still working to determine the cause of the fire. Governor Tony Evers has extended the energy emergency in the state of Wisconsin. It's said to be because of persistent challenges caused by a pipeline disruption within the Midwest pipeline distribution system. High demand for residential heating fuel is also a reason. The statement says the executive order will support the swift and efficient delivery of heating oil and propane throughout the state. According to the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin, multiple suppliers are still experiencing challenges with having to drive further distances to collect needed products. The emergency declaration extends the waiver of certain state and federal hours of service and adds a waiver to state weight limit restrictions. The move will allow suppliers to get caught up from the pipeline and weather-related delays. The waiver remains in effect through January 16th. News at the top and bottom of the hour all day and on demand anytime at WGBW.FM. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, 97.9 WGBW News.
Green Bay weather.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A cloudy
Passengers in time, lost in motion, locked together. Day and night by trick of light. I must take another journey. We must meet with other names.
Welcome back.
We must meet with other names.
I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite. It is great to have you with me tonight, folks. It is our last live show of 2025. We will have highlight shows the rest of the week, but we are going out with a bang. Great guest tonight. Paul Gilmartin from Dinner and a Movie will be here at 6:35. Mike Clemens coming up at 6:10 to talk Packers. Another comedian, Jim McHugh, talking about New Year's Eve shows at Memories Ballroom in Port Washington. And comedy sports legend and head coach Mike Kauth will help us close up shop here tonight. And lots to get to. Our question of the night in honor of National Bacon Day. What is your favorite kind of meat? I say bacon or steak. Conrad says a juicy burger. And there are no right or wrong answers, folks. There are only your answers. So be part of the fun and be part of the show. All right. It is my pleasure to welcome my first guest of the night. This gentleman is the event manager of the spectacular Oshkosh Celebration of Lights, and he joins us now over the stream, Mr. Rick Helms. Rick, welcome.
Thank you. How you doing tonight?
Oh, is Rick on the phone? I'm sorry, Rick. I got that confused. I'm doing very well. How are you?
Not too bad.
All right. Well, before we get to this really cool festival of yours, and I can't wait to talk about it, I have to ask, do you have a favorite kind of meat, Rick?
Well, a good burger is definitely go-to around the house, but there's nothing beats good steak.
Boy, you took a slight pause there, Rick, and I really appreciate you giving that some thought and noodling the question and not just shouting out the first thing that came to your mind. So thank you for your attention to our question of the night. All right, so tell us all about the Oshkosh Celebration of Lights.
Well, the Oshkosh Celebration of Lights started as an idea about 25 years ago with half a dozen gentlemen that wanted to do a Christmas event involving lights. We're in our 24th annual this year.
Wow.
It didn't take too long to get the idea off the ground and running.
That is fantastic. So, all right, have you been part of it that whole time?
No, I've been a part of the organization for probably about 10 years now.
Okay. How much work goes into this? It's such a long event, like 6 weeks. I think you guys start Thanksgiving weekend and go through the new year. How much planning does that take?
The planning is year-round. We never stop working on ideas, designs, corrections. There's a lot of maintenance that goes on behind the scenes. All summer long, stuff is being repaired, rewired, looking at ways to improve things and what we can change for the following year. So it really is a quite lengthy process. The setup alone, we usually begin the second week in October and we're finishing up just before Black Friday when we begin. Like you said, it's a 6-week-long event.
Yeah. So, all right. So it says you have 2.5 miles of drive through the EAA grounds into what you call a winter wonderland with millions of sparkling lights. But what I like about this too is it says you can also tune into 101.9 to hear your favorite holiday tunes while you're doing this. What a great idea. Tell people who are listening what they might expect if they come and do this event or take part in it.
Well, when you pull in, we've got multiple lanes of entry to try and get everybody in a timely fashion. And you just enter through a series of entrance huts where we give you some information, and you're also able to make donations to the local food pantries that we work with several of throughout the city.
Nice.
And they collect tons and tons of food for those that are in need this time of year. Once you get past there, then you're into the light show and you're just immersed in trees and displays and cutouts and all kinds of twinkly little things that bring smiles to all the children.
Is it the kind of thing that gets bigger every year, Rick, or do people come from around the state, or is it mostly a local event?
With the new location out at the EAA grounds, we've started to attract people traveling down Highway 41, and they have no idea what it is, so they drive by and make a point to get off the highway, come and check it out. So we have a lot of people from outside the area. We have people that are headed to Chicago that stop by. It's definitely a regional show, I would call it, because it's definitely not just the city of Oshkosh. We attract quite a varied clientele.
And you also say you have volunteers that make it possible. I'm sure you have to rely on people to give their time. I would imagine it's not very difficult finding volunteers for such a fun community activity.
No, we have hundreds of volunteers every year that help throughout the summer doing repairs. We have volunteers that come out between October and the end of November to help get everything set up, from private individuals to local businesses that send teams of people out. Every night when people drive up to the entrance huts, they're talking to their local volunteers. They're talking to their friends, their neighbors, their family. Those are the people that are in those buildings, making sure everything flows throughout the night.
These are the kind of activities I love around this time of year. It's just people coming together in communities and putting on great shows like this and great community events. I think I read this right. It's free, right, Rick?
No, it's $20 per carload. When you bring the canned food or hygiene item donations, then we give you $5 off. So it's $15. But every Sunday we have sponsored community nights. So those nights are free to the general public to come on out due to our gracious sponsors. So we have a community night every Sunday evening.
That's what I was looking at. It says free community nights. Okay, what a great thing. And people bring food. I love that. Tell us a little bit about, since our question of the night deals with meat, you have in your bullet points here 4 Beck's Meats drawings. Can you explain that? What is that, Rick?
We just do a little contest where people can enter to win some Beck's Meats because they're one of our sponsors. So it's a pretty simple thing to go online and do. And, you know, we draw some winners and help support a local small business that does meat processing. And it's very delicious. So I use them all the time.
Fantastic. My guest is Rick Helms. He is the event manager for the Oshkosh Celebration of Lights, an activity or an event that sounds like an absolute spectacle right there in the EAA grounds off Highway 41. It's a great event. You also have something called Special Cause Nights. Rick, what is that?
Well, we'll have different special events going on. We have a couple nights that are for seniors. We have Veterans Night. We've had a night that supports the local Humane Society, so we'll collect items for pets, you know, that are going up for adoption to help them out as well. So we just do different things like that to kind of pay tribute to special groups and make sure that they feel welcome and appreciated.
That's excellent. So what is coming up after this? Like, what do you do once an event like this is done in the books? What does Rick Helms do? Do you have other events you want to talk about, or do you take a brief break and start working on this again?
Well, like we said, this is a year-round endeavor. I do have multiple jobs, so I kind of go back to those and concentrate a little bit, and then we kind of get back into it after. It takes about a month to take everything down. So by the end of January, beginning of February, everything's packed away back in the semi-trailers and transported back to the warehouse, and take a little time off, and then we start working on repairs and thoughts for the following year.
Do you have? I see that you have special nights for seniors and veterans. What are those, and what can you tell listeners about that, Rick?
Well, Veterans Night, they get to come out for free. And then Seniors Night, we do a $10 carload. So we do 2 different senior nights, and those are all sponsored by other local businesses as well to help offset some of those costs for them.
I would imagine when you're driving by on 41 and you see this great spectacle of lights, it's great publicity for the event. So I love the location of it. When people drive through, Rick, how long does it take to get through the grounds or the tour?
Generally takes about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how much you stop and look at the displays. We do have a couple of animated displays that you can tune in the radio to listen to those specific songs. So it kind of depends on how many of those you sit and listen to, but 20 to 30 minutes is a pretty good average.
Okay. It's 2.5 miles, folks, of scenic drive through the EAA grounds, and you can tune your radio to listen to Christmas music. It's a great event. It goes through, when does it end, Rick? I know I read that it goes through New Year's, but what does that mean exactly?
Our last night is tomorrow on New Year's Eve, so we always start on Black Friday. Our opening night. We go through New Year's Eve every day, so it's pretty easy to remember when to come out and visit us in between those time frames.
And get out there tomorrow night. What a great year to, or what a great time to say goodbye to 2025. They've got horse-pulled wagon rides. It supports local nonprofits, and there's even a visit with Santa. So it sounds like an absolute blast, Rick. Let's have you on a little earlier next year so we can get the jump on this. But there is still time for people to enjoy it this year, I guess.
Absolutely. They're running right now tonight, and we'll be there again tomorrow night.
All right, fantastic. Have a great event, Rick, and hope to catch up with you down the road. Thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
You got it. All right, that's Rick Helms, the event manager of the spectacular Oshkosh Celebration of Lights. Check it out. It's very reasonably priced, and it all goes to a good cause. You don't mind spending money when you know it's going somewhere that or to people that need it. Con, what are your thoughts on Oshkosh?
I think Oshkosh is a great city.
I'll tell you what, I know that Appleton and Green Bay get a lot of the glory. But my wife's mother grew up in Oshkosh. My wife went to school there, so I spent a lot of time in Oshkosh. I did stand up there. It's not the forgotten city, but I feel like it's slightly grittier than like Appleton, but a great city right on the lake. Beautiful old homes, a college town. It's just a great place.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. So, all right, we were talking a little bit about Marty Supreme, and you highly recommend it. I kind of recommend Avatar. I want to talk about this show that I just finished last night, and it's in my beats for over the weekend. You'll hear this if you listen to Civic Media through the holiday, folks. But Pluribus did not do it for me. I finished the first season, the whole season, after the first episode, which is great. Nothing happens for like 8 episodes. And then last night I watched episode 9. She finally, and I don't want to say too much about it, but basically there's it's kind of like people turn into pods and they're friendly, but there's nothing there. And this Rhea Seahorn's character is the star of the show, and she's cranky and she's an author. And I really like her as an actress, but even her in this show, I was bored to tears. And I'm not even giving anything away. In the last episode of the first season, she finally meets someone, another guy from South America who is also like her and doesn't want to be a pod. Like the pods are trying to get them to be pods because you're so happy and blank. And it's bad. Like Vince Gilligan created Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, 2 of my favorite shows. I think he got I don't know if it's like out over his skis or what, but he's very good at showing something. Like he'll set up a shot in Better Call Saul to start the show, and it's someone making coffee and it goes on a while and it's visually interesting. And I love how he can take nothing and make it interesting. Not the case in Pluribus. The whole show is like that. It's, in my opinion, it's brutal. If you feel differently, or if you're watching it, please let me know. Let's jump into this and converse. Lil Irv on the stream says Larry's potato sausage. It's available now. Con, what do you think of potato sausage?
I don't like potato salad.
Sausage. Potato
Oh,
sausage.
sorry.
You think he's saying potato salad is his favorite meat?
It's close. It's close.
All right, we'll get into this. News, sports, and weather is just about 10 minutes away, folks. We will get more into potato sausage after the break. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me.
Welcome back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. You've got the Civic Media Radio Network, folks, and it is great to have you here Tuesday as we all prepare for a very fun holiday. I would say, where do you rank New Year's, Con, in your holiday rankings?
I put it at third, I think.
After Christmas,
Well,
Thanksgiving?
maybe fourth, actually.
After the 4th?
After the 4th, yeah.
Yeah. I go
And then
Arbor
maybe,
Day,
yeah, I was...
Christmas.
It's a stupid joke, Arbor Day.
I just try to work in Arbor Day whenever I can because it's just fun to talk
yeah,
about.
it makes
trees.
sense.
Yeah. I put it up there. It's in my top 5. I don't know where I put it exactly, but it's kind of a chill. It's nice that you have this after Christmas because Christmas you have a letdown, but then you also go, well, I still got New Year's, and that's a way to ease back into the real world and a new year. I think it's great space work. Whoever came up with this spacing of holidays and sequence of holidays, tip of my hat. All right.
Yeah.
So So we were talking right before the break. Lil Irv on the stream said he liked Larry's potato sausage, and it's available now. I don't know this product. I don't even really know what potato sausage is. I'm assuming they put potato in the sausage, like they do cheese or something. But I do like potatoes, and I do like sausage. So I assume I would like potato sausage. You thought I said potato salad, and that would not play into tonight's question of the night.
No.
All
You
right.
know, just potato salad, I just don't like it.
Where do you stand on egg salad?
I actually like egg salad, but I just can't stand the smell of it.
Yeah, I got no place in my life for deviled eggs or egg salad. I like scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs are great.
Yeah, they're lovely. Stacy Sue Johnson says, if I could pick where I would like to live in Wisconsin, it would be Madison. Well, what's stopping you, Stace? Stacy is referring to our list of New Year's Eve cities. Wallet Hub did a study, and they ranked the top 100 cities in America to spend New Year's Eve. Number 1 was Orlando. Number 2 was Vegas. Number 3 was New York. Madison made the list at number 44 and MKE at number 55. I feel like they should be a little higher. I know there's a lot of cities. And I think the fact that you make this list means you have a pretty good New Year's Eve city. But it seems like Madison and Milwaukee, just given how much we like to party, it seems like they should be higher. And I'll say this, Con, Minneapolis is 43rd, right above Madison. Minneapolis is a great town. Love it. But I'm sorry, it does not have the reputation Wisconsin does as like a party city. I don't know. I have trouble believing that's ahead of Madison.
Maybe it's because of the Mall of America and like
You
they
think?
do something there.
Yeah, maybe they do. It's actually not a bad. I could see that. But let us know, folks. What our question of the night? This is a good one too. What is your favorite meat in honor of National Bacon Day? That is tonight's Nite Lite question of the night. Brett from the 920 said smoked salmon. Now that's not a meat, obviously, but it's fish that's smoked and it's kind of dense. I would accept that.
It's great.
Smoked salmon's fantastic. They got a party cold with onions and all kinds of trimmings. Good stuff. Thank you, Brett. 262 says always a steak, medium rare. How do you get your steak, Con?
Extra done.
Extra done? Yeah.
I
Burn
like
it.
rubber. No, actually, I do. I like medium.
Yeah, I like it medium too, with slightly well done, but not too well done. Like, I don't like when I'm eating a steak and it's like in a pool of blood. It just kind of grosses me out a little bit. I know it's probably more macho to like your steak like that, but I'm willing to concede this one. That was from Tiff in Nashville. Thank you, Tiff. Tiff also says somebody needs to open a good old-fashioned Wisconsin supper club down here. Well, no time like the present, Tiff. Get to it. 262 Tiff. I wonder if that would go over. Because I know all these Chicago people like that go to Door County always said, "Oh, great deep dish pizza." But I think like a lot of Chicago people go to Door County. I don't think you want the deep dish pizza like you get at home. I think you want cheese curds or a supper club. And I don't know if that would work in Nashville, but I think a good Wisconsin supper club, if it's done right, would probably flourish anywhere. Just my 2 cents. What do you think, Tom?
I mean, in Denver, they have a Wisconsin bar there.
Okay.
And all the Packers go there, obviously, and or not the Packers players, but Packers fans.
Okay.
And it looks like such a fun time too.
Yeah.
So I think it could do well.
I think there was this supper club I used to go to in Three Lakes. We'd spend like the whole day swimming and all that, and we go out, and they had that cheese spread. It was like Merck's cheese. It's like a cheese. They probably add stuff to it. It's not like pure cheese. But damn, was it good on a cracker with like a Coke as a kid. And I used to watch the adults drinking old fashions. I was like, I could not wait to be an adult and have an old fashioned.
The kitty cocktails were pretty good though.
That's true. I know you're kind of being funny, but I totally agree.
No, they were great.
So I was getting back to Pluribus. I do not recommend it if you're watching this show. I know it's got its fans and people are going with it. And I think partially based on the street cred of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. But I would love to hear, if you are watching Pluribus, I would love to hear what you like about it and have a spirited discussion. Not an argument, certainly. There are good things to it, but I would love to hear that if you have thoughts on that. All right, coming up in hour number 2 after the news and sports and weather will be our Civic Media Sports Authority, Mike Clemens. He will be joining us, and we will press Mike a little bit on Packer injuries. What else does he think Mike wants to talk about, Con? You're a big-time Packer fan.
Well, I mean, I was going to make the joke that maybe we need a new injury cart.
I saw that and laughed. An oil change.
It needs an oil change for how many trips they've made this year so far.
It certainly does. They are decimated for sure. Probably worse than anybody else in the league. Mike will be here at 6:10. And then Paul Gilmartin, former host of Dinner and a Movie and a very funny comedian, will be here at 6:35. Comedian Jim McHugh at 7:10. And then comedy sports head coach Mike Kauth helps us close out the show for 2025. He'll be here at 7:20. We are coming back, folks, after news, sports, and weather. Stick around. Lots more Nite Lite coming up. This is Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Pass away, and the sun again will shine bright and clear. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we'll keep on the sunny.
Local news and timeless hits. WGBW, Denmark, Green Bay.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. 7.5 million Americans now have the flu, according to new data out today from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Up significantly from last week when the CDC said there were approximately 4.6 million cases. The CDC also says more than 80,000 people have been hospitalized with the illness and about 3,100 have died. Experts expect those numbers to rise after the holidays. The Virginia man accused of planting 2 pipe bombs at DNC and RNC headquarters on the eve of the January 6 riots was in federal court today.
Brian Cole's attorneys say that he is on the autism spectrum. He has obsessive compulsive disorder, but they say that he's not a danger to the community, even while they're not really denying outright the allegations that have been put forward by the government.
ABC's Alex Mallon. When asked why he planted the devices at the 2 major party headquarters, prosecutors say Cole responded, quote, "I really don't like either party at this point." This is ABC News. Federal law enforcement officials say cargo theft, a specialized branch of cybercrime, is costing the U.S. economy billions of dollars every year.
The American Transportation Research Institute estimates the value of freight stolen in transit at $18 million a day. Robert Howell is Chief Supply Chain Officer at Academy Sports and Outdoors, a company that's been hard hit. What's more,
if this continues at the rate it's going, absolutely those costs will have to be borne in future price increases.
Congress is considering legislation to combat cargo theft and the resale of goods stolen that way. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
At least 1 million people are expected to pack into Times Square tomorrow night to ring in 2026 by watching the ball drop. And while authorities say there's no credible threat to public safety right now, the NYPD is still on high alert. The forecast for New York City tomorrow night, cold. Wind chills making Times Square feel like it's in the 20s. Flurries are possible as well. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A cloudy sky tonight and into tomorrow, a few flurries and periods of light snow. Temperatures generally hold steady in the teens. Colder as we look into New Year's Day, low around 0, high mid-teens. Cold again Friday, a little warmer for the upcoming weekend. Right now it's 13.
The Elder Care Locator is here to help you live your best life as you age at home. Our call center advisors are ready to connect you with trustworthy local experts. Help is just a phone call away at 1-800-677-1116.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
Being blind doesn't look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. I know where to find support.
Learn more at fightingblindness.org, a public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
You are listening to your local civic media radio station on air. Thank you. Did you know we are always
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who once tore his ACL playing chess, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back. We are kicking off Act 2 here of Nite Lite on a Tuesday night, a beautiful Tuesday night, and one of the most fun, relaxing weeks, I would say, of the year. A lot of people take time off. We've got time between Christmas and New Year's to just kind of chill out and hang with family or by ourselves, watch some color television, whatever we prefer. It's a great week, and this is our last live show of 2025. So it is great to have you here, folks. We'll have highlight shows coming up Wednesday through Friday and be back live on January 5th, kicking off the new year, right, with New Year's resolutions galore and all kinds of fun stuff. But for tonight, we've got a lot of show coming up, and I'm going to recap the show after we welcome this next guest because he is a busy guy, and we love talking to him about the NFL and all things sports. He is a Civic Media Sports Authority and our pal who covers the Packers like no other, Mr. Mike Clemens. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Pete. You know, I wonder maybe there's still some people with the cabin up north where there's still a black and white TV. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I hope so. That would be kind of fun and nostalgic. What are you rocking, Mike? You got a big flat screen there for all your clips?
Well, I'm in my motel room here at the Bay Motel in Green Bay, but we actually, my wife got tired of waiting for me. I said, look, when the season's over with, I'll be home, and then we'll go out and get one. And then my daughter came back from Boston and said, oh, this is ridiculous. And they just went out and bought their own new damn TV. So I don't even know how to work it. I'm the man of the house, and I don't know how to work the new TV. I found out over Christmas. So
That's very emasculating. You could buy a black and white plasma mic or a little black and white like Michael Scott had on The Office. I don't know if you ever saw that episode. It was very funny.
I'm so busy during football season, and as busy as baseball got toward the end there, and still running down to see some Bucks or Badgers from time to time, that I can't think of them. I saw the last time I saw a film was on a plane ride.
Oh, wow.
Well, and you know what? There's one that I thought did tremendous marketing during training camp, and I was too busy. But the marketing for Naked Gun with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson, I thought she reinvented her career, and and their little alleged off-camera affair and all that stuff and all the social media stuff. I thought, man, this is a brilliant marketing campaign they've got going. So I was excited because it was on a long plane ride back from Denver. I thought, I'll watch this movie that I get a chance to see in the theater last summer. Not so good. I loved Airplane from the Zucker brothers out of Shorewood, which, by the way, my brother is like an IT person for those guys, for David and those guys out in L.A.
Nice.
I love The Naked Gun because, you know what? Leslie Nielsen was funny.
Yeah.
He played all those melodramatic roles in the 50s and 60s, and when they tabbed him to switch to comedy, like with Lloyd Bridges and all that, it was funny. But Liam doesn't pull off funny very well.
I think we discussed this briefly last time you were here, and I had David Zucker on the show probably 2 months ago, and he was not happy about the remake. Like, he had a script for it and everything, and he didn't trash it. He stayed pretty much above it, but you could tell there were some bad feelings there. And when you see the movie, you're like, yeah, there's a few laughs. There are a few laughs, but it's not the Zucker brothers, and it's not Leslie Nielsen.
I had about 5 snort laughs in the thing. That's fun. That's kind of clever. I thought, am I missing something? Is there like a bunch of cameos from contemporary stars that are in the background that I'm missing? What is it? It's just,
totally agree with you, Mike.
Yeah. The reason he was David was being diplomatic, royalties.
Yeah.
Piece of the action.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And I think he's probably doing okay, but at some point, he's been around so long. He knows the drill. He knows the dance. It's just, he was very interesting to talk to. But
so you were able to see the game Saturday night?
I did, yeah, and I really thought, the Ravens kind of broke it open a little bit, and Derrick Henry was unstoppable. But man, I thought the Packers with Malik Willis could make a comeback there, and it looked like they were going to for a while.
Speaking of flops, right? Yeah. It's 27. It's 27-24, and now the defense has finally gotten to stop because the Ravens scored every time they touched the ball in the first half.
Yeah.
And the first time coming out of halftime, they were unstoppable. Field goals, touchdowns, whatever. But then now you got them 3rd and 5, and Derrick Henry runs for 9 yards, gets a first down. On the next play, he runs for 30. 216 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. The last touchdown, Rashawn Gary gets blocked out by a receiver who he can't shed, and Derrick Henry just runs by him. Basically, number 52 is out there escorting him to his 4th touchdown. They have not had a visiting running back score on them 4 rushing touchdowns since 1984 in a game against the Buccaneers.
Wow.
Emmitt Smith one time had 4 touchdowns. One, though, was a reception from Troy Aikman back in 95. But, it's epic. So what I did, some of the things I do for some of the networks is, they send me over to talk to maybe the guys from the winning team. So John Harbaugh, veteran coach, he's won 1 Super Bowl as the head coach of the Ravens, where he beat his brother Jim when they beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. John Harbaugh comes to the podium, and he talked about this big win, and now they're back to 8-8, and now they're just a game behind the Steelers, and they're going to meet next Sunday night for the AFC North title, and this is the head coach after the game.
Just a heart-defining win is what that was. The type of win that makes you proud to be a Raven, makes you proud to be with these guys every single day, starting with Derrick Henry and Tyler Huntley and everybody else that led the way to this victory. So very proud of these guys, very grateful for this game, very grateful for this win. Derrick talked about it in the pregame prayer. and talked about. I'm gonna make you ask him what he said in the pregame prayer and what he talked about to the guys, because I just think the belief on this football team is at a level that I've never really seen before, because we've been through a lot.
Yeah, that's. I mean, how could you not say that after that win? And they had Huntley at quarterback, Mike. Like, we're talking about Malik Willis, who has performed beautifully, but they beat the Packers with Huntley.
Yeah, and but you knew that Lamar Jackson had jacked up his back in a game. I think it was against the Patriots, and he was listed as doubtful. But there was just no way he was going to be playing this week. So you knew that. You knew this game was going to be the Derrick Henry show, who's 32 years old now. He's 6'3", 252 pounds. He has the largest biceps I've ever seen. I've been around him a couple times now, and he's a train. And it takes an extra effort to bring this guy down. Derrick Henry, then, he came to the podium and said, hey, Coach said that you did a little speech before the game. What did you tell the team?
I did the prayer before the game, and I just talked about guys just playing free and trusting and believing in each other. Now, we've been through a lot this season. I mean, there's no shying away from that. We know what we need to do to be able to still give ourselves a chance. And that's just playing for each other and understanding that, the Lord's going to be there with us regardless. And he's been there with us this whole time. So, hats off to guys just blocking, O-line, like Coach Harper said, tight ends, receivers, fullbacks. It's the unselfishness of them, sacrificing, their bodies, for us to have success in the run game and dominate the line of scrimmage and dictate the game the way we want to.
It's like a lot of players do that, Mike. They thank God or Jesus for the win and that kind of stuff. And it reminds me of the great comedian George Miller, who used to go on David Letterman and said, yeah, the game was going really well until Jesus made me fumble. He would just love to hear somebody say.
I remember him. Yeah. Letterman loved him. He was so funny and such a great writer. Yeah,
he was funny. And Derrick Henry, 32 though. I mean, are there backs that are 32 that are still every down backs? It seems like they're like, come out of the backfield to make catches, but Derrick Henry, man, still going strong.
Adrian Peterson played pretty late. So did Emmett. I mean, guess what? He's a future Hall of Famer. Yeah. So Tyler Huntley, who they've been calling Snoop now, the backup quarterback, who gets a lot of play because Lamar Jackson's always out there running around getting banged up. Listen to this carefully. And on what he saw after he was handing the ball off to Derrick Henry 30-plus times, all those yards, and scoring 4 touchdowns.
Right, when he touched that ball, I was like, yeah, they not ready. And he ran straight downhill. Our linemen blocked. Our tight ends, receivers, they blocked. And then, and everybody executed. That's all.
My guest is Mike Clemens. He joins us here on Nite Lite periodically to talk Packers, Brewers, Bucks. He does it all. And we're talking about the Packers loss versus the Ravens last weekend. Mike, what do you make of, I mean, it seems like, where are the Packers at with injuries? And has it affected their locker room at all, to the best of your knowledge?
Well, they were having players drop, like every 10 minutes or so. They lost a defensive tackle, Jordan Riley, to an Achilles. An up-and-coming defensive back, Kamal Hayden, had an ankle injury. Zane Anderson does a really nice job on special teams and is a backup safety. He had to leave the game with an ankle injury. Dontavian Wicks, a wide receiver with a concussion. 2 of those guys, Riley and Hayden, they're done for the season. They had to make some moves today on special teams. They're bringing back a guy named Jonathan Ford, who had been a backup for years and recently was with the Bears. They let him go. So, yeah, they're kind of scrambling. It's the NFL. That happens. But I went to Evan Williams, who's this bright second-year safety, hard-working player. And, the guys in the NFL, they call effort play style. And we asked Evan, what happened in that game? Why couldn't you stop Derrick Henry today?
Honestly, I feel like to start out, it's just our play style. That's what it starts and ends with, and I feel like we just didn't have that today. That knockback that we're used to, the physicality at the point of attack, not that, guys weren't straining and stuff. It was just not enough to get it done, and that's all I can say right now.
Edgerrin Cooper called it embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you come out, you got to have something to prove in this league, on every snap. Otherwise, teams are good enough to come out and embarrass you, like what you just saw.
Boy, that's a great quote. And you kind of, like you said earlier, Mike, what the Ravens are going to do with a backup quarterback and a horse like Derrick Henry in the backfield. But that's kind of why I was asking about their morale. They just see all their teammates going down and they're kind of limping into the postseason. It's got to be a little demoralizing.
Yeah, listen, they've lost 3 games in a row now ever since what? Micah Parsons went down.
Right.
And when they acquired Micah Parsons week 1 in a huge trade from the Dallas Cowboys, it completely changed that defense. Every time you'd watch the opposing teams, the first thing they had to, Micah Parsons was like a shark in your swimming pool. You can't avoid him. Where is he now? Where is he now? And Josh Jacobs came running, and the star, running back, number 8, who's been dealing with a swollen knee for a month now, and he says everyone, the offense, the defense, and even the coaches need to take a deep dive to figure out why they've now lost 3 in a row.
I think we all got to look in the mirror. I mean, from the top down, coaches included, I think we got to look in the mirror and, have a reality check on, what we need to do to either give more or, or to do more for this team. And I think collectively as a team, once we do that, figure out what we want and, what direction we want to go and the things that we need to fix and go ahead and correct them.
That was Josh Jacobs. Mike Clemens is our guest. We will be back to break down that comment by the Packers running back after a very short break. We'll have Mike for a couple minutes on the other side of it. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
From Ashwaubenon to Alloway, this is 97.9 WGBW.
Sturgeon Spirits of Oshkosh. Next door to their cocktail bar and tasting room on Oregon Street is the Ready Room, open for your next event. A private bar with aviation-inspired details. It's ideal for intimate parties, conferences, or holiday parties and reunions. Sturgeon Spirits, 2663 Oregon Street in Oshkosh, and at grocery and liquor stores throughout the Fox Valley. As you begin your holiday travels, buy local, drink global, and take a piece of Oshkosh with you. SturgeonSpirits.com.
Hey, Northeast Wisconsin, this is Kristen Ambos with the Always On Point podcast and Point Mortgage. On Sundays at 10 to 11 a.m., you'll find me on the Civic Media app, as well as 1590 a.m., 97.9 FM, and all podcast platforms where we'll discuss everything mortgage, real estate, and market related. Any questions? Text them to 920-606-1156. Join me every Sunday.
Hey, it's Amanda, and we all know that Northeast Wisconsin has some of the best events around, but trying to find them all can be tricky. So here at WGBW, we decided to do the work for you. Prevent boredom on any night by going to WGBW.FM and click events in the top right corner. You'll never have to spend forever scrolling to find out what's going on in your area. And if you got an event to share, hit us up by emailing info@WGBW.FM, bringing you local news and timeless hits while giving you the 411 on what's happening in New Wisco.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
I was stuck in a state of panic and endless rituals, so I made the call.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association.
Guys, I want to pump the brakes on all that stuff. I think Jordan Love is playing some
pretty high-level football, and it's great that we feel the same about Malik in his ability to go in there. I thought he's had 2 really back-to-back outstanding performances, so we're in a good spot with that position. Certainly have a lot of confidence in both of those guys, but I mean, it's pretty clear that Jordan is our franchise quarterback, and he is going to be when he is healthy, he's going to be our starter. So I just want to squash all that.
Welcome back to Nite Lite. I am Pete Schwaba. That was Packers head coach Matt LaFleur talking about the quarterback situation. Malik Willis has played really well. Mike Clemens is here helping us sort of sift through what's going on with the Green Bay Packers with the playoffs looming. Mike, I love the phrase, the most popular player in town is the backup quarterback, but that pretty much sums it up. As well as Willis has played, you just paid Love all this money, and he's got pretty doggone good numbers too.
Yeah, and, every time that he's had his opportunity, he can move the football. He's more of a running quarterback. Last week, we're down in Chicago, and a guy named Austin Booker, who got fined $10,000, $11,000 for drilling his helmet into Jordan Love and giving him a concussion, that Malik went in there, that he got wrapped up by Montez Sweat, who drilled his right shoulder, his throwing shoulder, into the turf, and, that's been sore all week. He's out there with a sore shoulder, throwing darts.
Yeah.
Zipping the ball around. Do you know what his quarterback rating was Saturday night against the Ravens? 134.6. Darn near perfect.
Wow.
And he's out there running around, throwing. And then at one point in the second half, the pain was so much, he ran off the field into the locker room to get it checked out to make sure there wasn't something serious going on. Came back out and finished the game. The third-string quarterback, they've got a guy on the roster named Clayton Tune. He threw a pass to Bo Melton, which bounced off his hands, turned out to be an interception. But if the defense had shown up, the Packers could have won that game with their backup quarterback. And Malik was asked about how he felt the effort was during that loss to the Ravens.
We were fighting. I don't think nobody on that offense was not fighting. I think the defense were fighting. I think it just didn't go their way tonight. And that's the way this league works. There are good players everywhere. And we just got to look at the film, step back, and figure out what's wrong and fix it. That's all it takes.
Even more impressive, I think, Mike, is that they had time they were game planning probably for Malik Willis, and he still put up those numbers. Like when he went in against the Bears, people said, oh, well, they weren't expecting him. Well, now they were, and he was great.
There was a guy, and people, look, there's no way, and as LaFleur just said, look, our quarterback 1 is Jordan Love. Please get serious. And he was asked that question because there's so many fans that get on social media or call shows like yours and stuff and say, well, maybe they should start Malik Willis. Maybe he's the one with a hot hand right now. No. Let Jordan Love come back from the concussion, get through the protocol, yada, yada, yada. Matter of fact, Jordan took most of the snaps last week. He just didn't pass the protocol on Friday. So, but let a lesson be learned. Let's be innovative, because once upon a time, back in 2017, you had Aaron Rodgers, a guy named Joe Callahan, and Brett Hundley. I don't think either of those guys are in the league. That's where you decided your backup quarterbacks, because I think they had another guy that was undrafted by the name of Taysom Hill, who during the preseason was lighting up the offense just like you see Malik Willis do. But they didn't think he had as good an arm as these other guys see. He didn't have the pedigree. So they released him. Well, guess what? Sean Payton, the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, who's now got a Broncos team that looks like they might represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, he said, I was watching Green Bay for their tight ends, and I saw this guy in their preseason, and I thought, that's a football player. So he put him on special teams. He made him an occasional tight end. Sometimes he backed up, Drew Brees and the other quarterbacks. He's still playing for the Saints. He won a game for them a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So it's like, be more creative. If you've got an athlete, find them a spot on the field, and maybe that's what they need to think about with Malik Willis.
Absolutely. Mike, we have about a minute left. It looks like the Packers and the Bears are going to play again. I don't know if I'd say most likely, but a very good chance. The NFC North will be represented in the playoffs, but I think everybody thought they were this big, bad conference, and now it turns out to be the NFC West. How do you like the Packers going into the playoffs, given what they're going through now? Do you think they'll be less banged up in a couple weeks?
No. I don't like what's going on. I don't like how they finished last. When we're talking to Brian Gutekunst at the Combine around a conference table last February, he says, we lost our last 3 games. Lost to the Vikings, lost to the Bears. That was embarrassing. And then we lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions, to the Eagles, 22-10. We can't have that happen. Well, they just lost 3 games in a row. This is not the way you want to be playing going into the postseason. So right now they're trying to figure out, do we even play? There's no ramifications in Sunday's game at U.S. Bank against the Vikings other than pride.
Right.
So do you think you need to get your team ready, or do you need to get them rested up, and you'll probably play the Bears in Chicago or possibly the Eagles in Philadelphia, because now you're the 7th seed, the last team to sneak in as a wild card. You're playing on the road the rest of the way. But there was a team that once did that. It was the 2010 Packers, and they won Super Bowl 45.
Well said. Mike, thank you so much as always, pal. Hey, do you have a favorite meat, Mike? It's National Bacon Day.
A favorite meat?
Yeah.
A favorite meat. I'd have to, I've been partial to ham lately. Man, a good ham is pretty darn good, right?
Yeah. I think that's a great choice. And I had to ask because, you cover the Packers. So it was an approprite question. But thanks, buddy.
Once upon a time on a New Year's Day, Mom got some sort of a great ham, with the brown sugar stuff on the outside. And, we're just shaving that off with mustard and nice big soft bun, watching the Rose Bowl. Oh, man, I'm making myself hungry now.
That's living. Hey, buddy, have fun out there at the game this weekend and look forward to talking again soon. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys.
All right. Thanks, Mike. That's Mike Clemens, Civic Media Sports Authority. Follow him at Twitter, Mike Clemens NFL, and read his stuff. He does outstanding work, as you just heard. So what do you think, Con? Packers going into the playoffs, do they have a fighter's chance? Do you
Packers to the Super Bowl.
Do you rest the starters?
No. Get them out there ready to play.
There.
They don't deserve a break. They suck.
Okay, fair enough. News, sports, and weather is next. Then Paul Gilmartin from Dinner and a Movie joins me here at Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba.
Stay warm, stay merry. Happy holidays from Civic Media.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. 7.5 million Americans now have the flu, according to new data out today from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, up significantly from last week when the CDC said there were approximately 4.6 million cases. The CDC also says more than 80,000 people have been hospitalized with the illness and about 3,100 have died. Experts expect those numbers to rise after the holidays. The Virginia man accused of planting 2 pipe bombs at DNC and RNC headquarters on the eve of the January 6 riots was in federal court today.
Brian Cole's attorneys say that he is on the autism spectrum. He has obsessive compulsive disorder, but they say that he's not a danger to the community, even while they're not really denying outright the allegations that have been put forward by the government.
ABC's Alex Mallon. When asked why he planted the devices at the 2 major party headquarters, prosecutors say Cole responded, quote, "I really don't like either party at this point." This is ABC News.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A cloudy sky tonight and into tomorrow, a few flurries and periods of light snow. Temperatures generally hold steady in the teens. Colder as we look into New Year's Day, low around 0, high mid-teens. Cold again Friday, a little warmer for the upcoming weekend. Right now it's 13.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us.
We are the National Park Foundation, and together with you, we're creating a future where every person, every generation gets their chance at an unforgettable moment. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
Small businesses are the heart of America. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource,
Welcome back. I'm Pete Schwaba. Happy New Year, everybody. We are barreling toward New Year's Eve here, which is tomorrow. Hope you have your plans. If you don't have plans for New Year's Eve, you need to stick around because in hour number 3, a friend of mine, Jim McHugh, will tell you where you can spend New Year's Eve and get big, big laughs. And following that, if improv is your game, comedy sports head coach Mike Kauth will be here to tell us all about their New Year's Eve shows. We talked about the Oshkosh Festival of Lights. That is still going on. All kinds of options out there. Or you can stay home like most Americans and watch Netflix. Still lots more show to come. This is our last live show of the year. We'll have highlight shows running throughout the rest of the week. But right now, I'm very excited to welcome my next guest. He's been here before, and he is a very good friend of mine. He is very successful, hilarious stand-up comedian, and the former host of the show Dinner and a Movie. He hosted that for years on TBS, a great show. And he joins me now on Nite Lite, Paul Gilmartin. Hey, buddy.
Pete.
How are you?
Happy holidays, buddy. Good to
Back at ya.
Good to see you.
You as well.
They rebooted Dinner and a Movie, and I was a guest on it recently, which was surreal.
That is all the questions I had prepped for you, and you just answered them. So thank you for that. I was going to ask you if you watched it, and if I would assume they would have you on. You were such a great host. What was that like? I mean, you said it was surreal, but were they thrilled to have you? I can't believe
very
they
nice.
Even...
Everybody was nice. Like the crew, I walked in and they clapped. And I mean, crews are always, and especially production staff in show business, TV, they're always falling over themselves to make sure guests feel at home, at least the stuff that I've been on. So, I don't know how much of it was that, but it felt very nice. And Jason and Jenny, the hosts, super nice, very self-deprecating. And it was interesting.
Has Jason Biggs tried to make it with a baked good yet while hosting the show?
I can't swear on this. So all I'm going to say is underwear and muffins. I don't even know what that means.
Well, my wheels are turning, just so you know. Yes, I'm putting a picture together with that, and I love it. So that's pretty cool. This was such a great, I always say, I wish I would have thought of that pitch, because making food while watching a movie, the two just seem to go hand in hand. You had such a great run on that show. And I know at times, Paul, you were this really edgy, great comedian, and you seem to go into that gig with a little reluctance, but then you seem to embrace it. It was such a fun gig, I would imagine.
Thanks. I really appreciate you saying that, because as you know, having been a stand-up, we want audiences to like us, but we really want our peers to like us, because we spend time with them. It affects your professional self-esteem. And I wasn't sure whether or not this show was something that my peers would approve of or not, because there's a lot of compromises, when you do television, and you have to really dial back what you would normally say as a comedian on stage in a nightclub. And so there was a lot of that compromise, and you don't have control over what's going on around you, just your reaction to it. And so for the first probably 12 episodes, I was in anguish about things that I thought were lame, or the comedic rhythm, or what my co-host was saying. And then it occurred to me, when I had gone through Second City's training program, I was never a paid performer there, but I went through their workshops. One of the things I learned is, instead of trying to steer things into how you think they should be, just be in the moment and react to what is in front of you. And that's when I went, oh, because Annabelle used to really annoy me, and I thought, oh, I'll have the camera, i.e. the audience, be like a third person for this, get together, conversation, whatever you want to call it. So just like when you're around a friend who can sometimes be annoying, you'll look at that other friend like,
right,
oh my God, can you believe this? And that for me was when I feel like I found my legs on the show.
Do you have, like, I think all of us, think we're going to reinvent the wheel when we start doing stand-up comedy, and we're going to be great, and we're going to be the next, Richard Pryor or whatever. But to your point, what you just said, because I remember stuff Dennis Miller said about you before he was crazy and had all these glowing things to say about Paul Gilmartin. But when you get this gig, it might not be Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, but everyone, to a person in the business, goes, oh, nice. Like, you got a gig, you got a hosting gig. You're making great money. And I know, but I mean,
in terms of not having to be on the road and making money, yes. But
when you look back,
quality,
Paul, but when you look back, do you feel that way now, where you're like, yeah, that was great. I'm so glad I did that.
I do.
Yeah.
I'd always felt that I was really lucky to have found a gig that allowed me to buy a house and not be on the road 40 weeks a year. That, from the get-go, I felt that way about it, and I still feel that way today. The difference how I feel today is I'm proud of the creative work of it, because I can look in hindsight and say 90% of my anguish was just my low self-esteem and my self-obsession.
Wow,
and
interesting.
I needed somebody back then to slap me and say, get over yourself, go have fun.
Well, I could tell you from the perspective of a guy who was your friend, who I looked up to when I started, and I remember watching you thinking, oh, Paul's great. I loved when some of us moved to LA and didn't have a whole lot of money when we first got there, and you were taking woodworking classes and helicopter lessons. Like, you didn't know what to do with the money you were making. And we just wanted to be in that realm. It's like, God, I just want to get there.
It's funny. Your friends never tell you that at the time.
Yeah.
They keep it to themselves. So while I knew any comedian wants to have a gig and be making money, they don't come right out and say it. And it's really only after time has passes that we have those conversations with each other. And I felt the same way about you as a stand-up in terms of quality. And as a writer, I've always felt that way about you. You had an eye for characters. The Godfather of Green Bay, when I read that script, I was getting over a surgery and it hurt to laugh. And I was in pain in several moments in that script. And it's very hard to make me laugh. So
I had no idea.
Right back at you.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So, all right. So you went on the show, and I have to say, Paul, I might have said this to you last time you were here, that I was surprised that, you look good. You're in shape.
Oh my God.
You still, but I mean, you could host a show like that. Did they ever come back to you and say, hey, we want to reboot and maybe put you with a younger host, or no? Okay.
And honestly, even though I would have loved the money, creatively, I would just feel like I did all that I could do in medium with that premise.
Okay.
Because honestly, the last few years of this show, it really felt like I was recycling things and repeating myself. And I always loved the people that I worked with, the crew, the cast, the producers. That part I miss. But
Yeah.
as far as coming up with jokes for Rush Hour 3, no, I don't. We showed that movie, I don't know, like 6 times. And by the 5th time, trying to come up with a joke, when you come out of the movie directly to you, we would usually try to find a joke or something to comment on it. And
Yeah.
boy, it was just tumbleweeds trying to come up with another joke for that. This is going to sound really weird. I hope you don't mind if I change the subject.
No,
but
not at all.
because of where you are and where you live, I just finished a book about the Edmund Fitzgerald, and it was one of the most compelling books I've ever read in my life.
Oh,
It's
no
the only
kidding.
book I've ever seen on Kindle that got 5 out of 5 stars with hundreds of ratings.
Wow.
I believe it's called The Gales of November, but
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
yeah, it was so good, and it I don't know, it just makes me think of that area and just how beautiful and rugged and dangerous and awesome.
Yeah, it's weird. I live in Northeast Wisconsin around, well, Green Bay, obviously, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior is like 3 hours north. I've become fascinated by shipwrecks and these sailors that have to sail the Great Lakes, which at times, as I understand it, is more difficult than the ocean because you don't have those swells that you can ride. The waves are more violent, and that's what they say happened with Edmund Fitzgerald. It might have just split in two, right?
Yeah, because freshwater, and according to this book, freshwater is lighter than saltwater.
Okay.
And so the time between waves can be very, very short, and you can have 2 waves pushing the ship up at the same time. And if one is on the front and the other is on the back, and you've got 32 million pounds of iron ore in the middle,
right,
it's going to break.
That's fascinating. And I love that you transitioned into the Edmund Fitzgerald from talking about your gig with dinner in a movie.
Well, there were both shipwrecks. They were both tragedies that people would rather not remember.
Knew you were going to say that. Paul Gilmartin is my guest. Very funny, very talented stand-up comedian, and the former host of Dinner in a Movie. Paul, we have about 3 minutes till we have to go to a break. I would love it if you could tell that story. When I moved to LA, maybe we should keep this till after the break. But I would love for you to tell the story when my wife and I moved to LA, and because of the whole Richard Marx fiasco, we stayed at your house because you and Carla, your wife at the time, were out of town, and I had an issue with your dog that I had completely forgotten about until the last time you were on the show. So I'm going to ask you just to think about that if you could talk about that when we come back from a break. But in the meantime, are you doing any stand-up?
No, for a while I was still doing political satire as a character, a really kind of right-wing crazy character.
Richard Martin, right?
Richard Martin, yeah.
Very funny.
But I don't really do him anymore. If somebody invites me to go do something local, I will do it. But yeah.
That's kind of how I am. I do this local football fundraiser every year. It's not a ton of money for a guy from LA, but I just keep that in the back of your mind. If you ever want to come to the Midwest, Paul, and tour various shipwrecks, you are welcome to take the stage at the Little River Country Club in Marinette. So we'll talk about that off the air. But have you ever had the urge, given the success you had, like you said, I mean, who doesn't want a paycheck, right? For you to host another show, could you pitch something similar to Dinner in a Movie?
That doesn't really interest me because that's not where it doesn't get the creative juices flowing. Honestly, what gets the creative juices flowing these days is making furniture. And that's what I spend most of my time. And, I'm still doing the podcast, the Mental Illness Happy Hour podcast. And yeah, that does get my juices going too, but I got a lot of juice. I'm juicy. That's what I'm trying to say.
So, all right.
Furniture making, I could talk about endlessly for hours and hours.
That is so cool that you're still doing that. And it's creativity too. Like what a fun, I can't even use the screwdriver, but I admire you for for making the furniture. It's pretty cool. So, all right, Paul Gilmartin is my guest. We will have a few more minutes with Paul on the other side of this break. I'm going to ask him to tell a very funny story involving me and his dog, Charlie, that I had totally forgotten about. And I'm going to ask him who his favorite comedians are, given who we started doing stand-up around in Chicago. It was a glorious time for comedians. And I'll ask Paul all about that when we come back after this very short break. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm waiting just for you. Someone's living for love.
The animated figures that once adorned the H.C. Prang's department store windows are featured in this exhibit, along with the Enchanted Forest, the Snow Babies, and charming forest animal collections. Whether you're starting a new tradition or reliving treasured memories, there's no better place to create holiday magic than the Neville Public Museum. This has been your Eye on the Community, brought to you by Insight Eye Care. If it's happening in the Green Bay area, it's on WGBW.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Snow, sleet, or sub-zero wind chills. Only in Wisconsin do we grill thousands of brats during the holiday season. Because Christmas lights look better with a little grill smoke. Happy holidays from all of us with Civic Media. You are listening to your local Civic Media radio station on air. Thank you. Did you know we are always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app too? And if you miss a show or game, find it wherever you get your podcasts or on our website, Civic Media.
Hey, this is Mike Starr, and you're listening to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back. All righty, folks. We've got news, sports, and weather coming up in just a few minutes. We've got a few more minutes with my pal, Paul Gilmartin, who is joining us from Los Angeles over the stream. Paul, I mentioned before the break, when we started doing stand-up, you started a little bit before me, but you had guys like John Rigi, who won Emmys, Bob Odenkirk, Jeff Garlin. Were those, we all love to watch those guys, but did they influence your comedy in any way? And do you have a favorite of those guys?
I'm sure they did. In terms of my favorite to watch, I would put John Rigi up there. Jimmy Pardo, Bill Leff. I'm sure there are tons of Stephen Leo, comedy
my
team
God,
Stephen
yeah.
Leo, especially Leo. But yeah, there was a lot of guys that I watched, and my then wife Carla was a huge comedy
Great comic.
influence on me. Great
Yeah.
joke writer, great. She knew how to edit. She probably educated me more about comedy because she wouldn't beat around the bush. She would be like,
Right.
"That joke's too long," or "There's no joke in there. That's just the premise right now."
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love that you said, I don't know if I told you this, but I ended up working on a script with Stephen Leo. And when I came back here, they were still, or one of them was in Chicago, the other one was in LA. So we were in different spots. So we would Skype. And that was so invaluable just to watch those two interact. I was in tears just watching what, like, Leo would go and act like the screen had frozen, and then he would move, like just Leo being Leo. But the two of them together were so funny. You're right. We were spoiled by the comics we got to watch because it was such a great time for comedy. Are you surprised at Bob Odenkirk's not success? He was always incredibly talented, but when you see him as an action hero now, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This guy is
bizarre.
like, yeah, what is he doing right other than being smart and talented?
Yeah. Yeah, he is one of the most focused, hardworking people I know. I remember one night we had all kind of finished our shows. It was midnight on a Saturday night, and we walked to a bar that had an outdoor patio, and Bob was there writing sketches at midnight, working at midnight on a Saturday while we're all drinking beer. This probably would have been like 1990, somewhere around then. But no, I'm not surprised at all. And Bob always took chances. He's one of the most fearless people I know.
He was not afraid to bomb. In fact, he relished it. It seemed like at times he wanted to make the back of the room laugh. But it's funny. I heard this great story about him. He was a waiter at Ed DeBevick's in Chicago, and he had written the Matt Foley sketch and sent it to his buddy at Saturday Night Live. I think it was Robert Smigel or somebody. And he's waiting on a table, and there's Chris Farley doing Matt Foley, and he's just like, "Hey, I wrote that sketch." Like, what a fun,
really?
Yeah, it was just great, and it's just such a great story when you hear stuff like that, and people who are so talented getting ahead, and now he's starring in Nobody too. It's insane.
I did get to experience that when Dennis Miller had a 5-night-a-week show. I was a fax-in staff joke writer from Chicago, and it would be so bizarre to write a joke that morning and see it come out of his mouth at night. It was a very powerful feeling for somebody who was, I've been doing stand-up maybe 3-4 years at that point. It was very cool.
Here's where I'm at with guys like you or guys that are our age that kind of segued out of stand-up before social media. These great jokes a guy like you did, where do people see them now? They're not like that joke you did about going into the bank and waiting in line forever it was the guy who attempted a transaction that's never been performed before, and he wanted to change the name of the ship on his checks. And you're in line behind this guy and you freak out, and then you get up there and you go, "Oh, thanks, you're letting me go ahead. I'd like $100 in Buffalo nickels." One of the greatest jokes I've ever heard. Where can people see the comedy of Paul Gilmartin these days?
I think that might be on my Comedy Central half hour, which is now about 20 years old. But Comedy Central presents Paul Gilmartin. I think I did that joke on that one. I want to promote my furniture.
Please.
Shapedfurniture.com.
Wow, and you ship it to okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Depending on what it is, it might be expensive to ship a coffee table or an end table, but that's mostly what I make, coffee tables and end tables.
You're selling furniture. Steve Seagren and Leo are selling art. I hate people that leave this business and do great things with. I don't even trust people like you. It's incredible. Good for you. Do you have time to tell the Charlie story? We've got about 2 minutes, maybe.
There's probably parts of it that I'm missing, but I remember I love my dog Charlie. I thought she was the most perfect dog, affectionate, loved to cuddle. And so when you and Mary were staying over, I was like, these guys are going to fall in love with Charlie. And so we come back home and I was like, how did it go? And just, you were like, she spent the whole time on my pillow licking her ass. You were so annoyed.
How do I not even remember that? That's so. Oh, that's great. Paul, we did a screening of my film that you mentioned earlier, The Godfather of Green Bay in Madison, about a month ago. And it was Civic Media sponsored. It was a great event. Lots of fun at this great spot called the Atwood Music Hall. And on the big company meeting, they said, yeah, and we'll get the proceeds to go to the Dane County Humane Society. And I'm like, I don't even like animals. What is and half the company was like, what? And the chat box lit up,
Outside of eating them.
Right. No, I just have allergies.
And I love your question of the night. That doesn't get any more Midwest than
favorite
that.
kind of meat. It's vague.
Favorite meat.
We got about 30 seconds. You got a favorite meat?
I would say Chicago style Italian beef sandwich or the pickled human foot. It's very close between the two of those.
Well, I have one of those in 3 tubs ready for New Year's Eve this week. I'm very excited about that, and it's not the human feet. So,
Portillo's or Al's roast beef.
Absolutely, we've been to a few of those places. Paul, thank you so much. Have a great New Year. Come out to the Midwest and hang out. We'll tour the shipwrecks. I mean it. I'm serious.
Love you, buddy.
Okay, buddy. Love you too. That's Paul Gilmartin, ladies and gentlemen. Check out his Comedy Central special. I was just getting rolling there with the talking con. All right, we're coming right back. It's Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. Act 3 is next.
If it happens in Wisconsin, you'll hear about it on the station with local news and timeless hits. 97.9 FM, WGBW, Denmark, Green Bay.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. A major escalation in Venezuela. President Trump confirming the first known U.S. strike on Venezuelan soil. The attack targeted a loading dock by the shoreline. Trump claiming drugs were being loaded onto boats.
But very few details as to whether it was the military or the CIA that carried it out. But I think what you're seeing here is the full arsenal of U.S. military and covert capabilities being used against Venezuela right now.
ABC senior Pentagon correspondent Louis Martinez. Authorities in Bexar County, Texas, searching for 19-year-old Camila Mendoza Olmos, missing since Christmas Eve, say they found a body outside San Antonio, not far from her home, a gun found nearby, and similar clothes to what Olmos was last seen wearing, although authorities have not yet confirmed it's her. Flu cases are on the rise, according to the latest release from the Centers for Disease Control. The agency estimates 7.5 million Americans have caught the flu so far this season. That's a jump of about 3 million cases compared to last week. This is ABC News. Meta is buying artificial intelligence startup Manus. The Singapore-based platform launched its first general-purpose AI agent this year. The Trump administration now says it's freezing childcare funds to Minnesota amid a fraud investigation.
Federal agents say they're now going door to door in Minnesota, investigating what officials describe as rampant fraud that could total more than $1 billion in taxpayer money. The sweeping investigation is targeting dozens of suspected fraudulent businesses accused of misusing public money that was meant to support social services, including everything from school lunches to childcare to housing assistance.
ABC's Sophie Flay. Nearly 3,000 pounds of raw ground beef under recall over E. coli contamination fears. The recall covers 16-ounce Forward Farms grass-fed ground beef packages with a use date of January 13th, shipped to stores in California, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Pennsylvania, and Washington. Dave Packer, ABC News.
You're a storyteller, negotiator, artist, innovator. Whatever your passion, whatever your skills, behind the scenes or in front, you belong here. A career in broadcast media. Local radio and TV stations in every town and city need someone like you. So do what you love and bring your talent to life. Your passion, your skills, your career. You belong here. Learn more at youbelonghere.media.
Teachers are diverse, skilled leaders, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Teaching shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org, supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A cloudy sky tonight and into tomorrow, a few flurries and periods of light snow. Temperatures generally hold steady in the teens. Colder as we look into New Year's Day, low around 0, high mid-teens. Cold again Friday, a little warmer for the upcoming weekend. Right now it's 13.
Is getting vaccinated on your to-do list? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. See how we've got you at yougotthis.usaging.org. A message from the Aging and Disability Vaccination Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
You are listening to your local Civic Media radio station on air. Thank you. Did you know we are always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app too? And if you miss a show or game, find
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy whose house has an actual wiggle room, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back. Great to have you folks. This is Nite Lite, a Tuesday edition, but it kind of feels like a Friday edition because it's our last live show of the year. We will have highlight shows running throughout the rest of the week with some of our favorite moments. If you missed the show so far, we've had a lot of fun. Conrad, are you having fun?
Oh, I'm having lots of fun.
I mean, you're still
just
here,
thinking
right?
about
So-
meat, you know?
Right. How about Paul? That's such a Wisconsin question. Like, why does he equate that with Wisconsin? Like, I got it, but
Well, all
people
right,
eat
we
meat
got-
everywhere.
We got to go back to Rob Brackenridge's joke that he had, you know, that our fingers look like sausage. So that's why.
Rob will be on the show, I believe January 12th. He'll be back soon. Can't wait to have Rob back on the show. Always fun to talk to comics, especially old friends like Paul Gilmartin, who we just had on before the news. And it's funny, like if you had a quarter for every story people told you about yourself that you forgot about, it would just be fun to shift through the quarters, I think. But it was great to have Paul on. We had Mike Clemens on in hour number 2 as well. If you missed all the fun, folks, go to civicmedia.us and check out hours number 1 and 2 of tonight's edition of Nite Lite. It's been a lot of fun so far and lots more to go. I'm going to welcome another friend of mine in just a minute. Jim McHugh will be here. And then Mike Kauth from Comedy Sports. He is a head coach at the Milwaukee Institution. He will be joining us at 7:20. And we will talk to Mike about actually this hour, Conrad, is dedicated to fun events on New Year's Eve that will make people laugh. That is what hour number 3 here, or act 3 as I call it, is all about. But check out the hours number 1 and 2 if you missed it, folks. It's been a lot of fun. Chris Casper, our pal in the 608, says, how is smoked salmon not a meat? Well, because it's a fish. But you know what? I've learned not to argue with Chris Casper, Conrad. I just know. He says fish is meat. He says anything that has eyes is meat. I mean, I'm fine with that. That's not a hill I would die on. Like, go ahead, call fish meat. I don't care. I don't think typically it is considered meat. But, you know, Casper's a bright guy. I believe him. Bridget in the 818 says tenderloin with a great sauce. Ooh, great sauce. I'm intrigued, Bridget. Like, what do you mean? Ketchup? I doubt it. So there you go. Our question of the night, folks. Why don't we reintroduce the question of the night, Conrad, for our last hour of 2025. Here's the Nite Lite question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question. Pregunta. Question.
question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda.
Question. Questions.
What is your favorite kind of meat? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. A very vague question. Have fun with it. Today, actually, is National Bacon Day. One of the greatest inventions ever made. And I'll even throw turkey bacon in there, too. I like me some turkey bacon once in a while. But let us know what your favorite kind of meat is. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can also text us on the app. Or if you're watching the radio on the stream at Facebook, YouTube, or X, you can drop us a stream comment, and we will read that on the radio as well. Be part of the show, folks. It's always more fun when you guys participate. How are we doing, Con? Am I on top of it? What am I missing?
I think you're doing great.
Text? We're doing great. I'm crushing it tonight, aren't I? You could just tell me. I know it really hurts you to give me compliments, but let's.
I mean, you had a great plug for the civicmedia.us website, so that was great.
That's what I'm here for. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome. Oh God, look at the. Did you see Casper's comment on the? He says fish is meat. LOL. Are you serious? And you know what? It's the insulting kind of "Are you serious?" because he didn't even put a question mark, which means he's making a statement. I'm going to give you.
Well, we just got to agree now. We just got to agree.
Go to the Google. Con, take a memo. Go to the Google. And we'll get back to Casper. But right now, I'm going to welcome another friend of mine to the show. He is a very funny comedian who is Chicago-based. And, Conrad, are you ready for this? He's a serious Packer fan. And he books a great room for comedy here in Wisconsin. So he might be just as conflicted about his residency where he lives as I am with mine, given our dual citizenship, or so to speak, something like that. Comedian Jim McHugh joins me now. Hey, buddy.
Pete, I got to tell you, listening to Paul was great, reminiscing Paul and all the Chicago stories. By the way, Bill Gorgo says hello.
Love Bill.
Just want and say goodbye because we got to 2025 getting out of our hair here. And yes, talking about shipwrecks, the Packer game this past Saturday will go down as a shipwreck. I want to say this, as you know, and I'm sure your sports director know, and Conrad's know. So who is the original owner of the Packers?
The Bears.
No. Who owned the Packer team?
I don't know. It wasn't the city initially, right? So
it was Acme Packing. You remember
Yes.
Acme Packing. And that's exactly what happened on Saturday night. It was like Wile E. Coyote was running all over the place, and nothing that Wile E. Coyote could stop the Roadrunner. It was like watching the Roadrunner just run through, and everything that Acme had that could throw at the Roadrunner, you couldn't stop Derrick Henry. No way, no how.
Jim, I first of all, let me just say this. I appreciate how passionate you are about your team. You live in Chicago. You're a huge Packer fan. I also love that you got the fire going there. I feel like this is a fireside chat. It's a lovely end of the year appearance with the background.
I was just out shoveling 10 minutes ago.
No, it's brutal. I know. Listen, I applaud you. Do you take a lot of, here's the deal. When I moved from Chicago here in junior high, I took so much abuse from Packer fans. And I didn't even know the rivalry. I mean, I knew it was the Packers, and my mom at the time was a Packer fan. I got that it was a rivalry, but not how intense it was until I moved here. What has your experience been as a Packer fan in Chicago?
I kind of hole up. So here's the deal. Obviously, I have a lot of friends who are Bear fans, and I am, I'm a sports guy. I still play a bunch of sports.
Wow.
And I get it. We are all emotionally invested in our team. So I have plenty of friends who are Bear fans. So I don't throw it in their face. I don't have to. The Packers and their record throws it in their face. I don't have to say anything. So they're very envious of me and the Packer fans because they want to be where we are. And I get it. And, I watch the Packers through the Bears through a different prism because I'm watching them as somebody we have to play twice a year. And, I try to figure out, if they're going to be good or bad. And they've done a really good job. Their biggest decision that they made was hiring Ben Johnson. Huge ad for them. And they fixed their offensive line. And Caleb Williams can sling the ball. So, they're on the come. So there's great games to be had. obviously, as anybody that's watched the last couple games, it puts your heart in. If you don't have AFib, or if you have AFib, you can just sit there and just watch a replay of the Bears-Packer games over the last 3 weeks, and I think your heart will go right back into rhythm.
It's brutal. And I'll tell you what, for both sides, because I know Packer fan friends of mine, and I've got tons of them, were saying they thought Williams was going to win that first game. And then after what happened in the second game, I've never even seen a game like that. But if you have a prediction for, supposedly they're going to meet in the playoffs, most arrows point toward another matchup between the Bears and Packers. How do you think that's going to go?
Okay, so when when this particular schedule came out and watching the season go, when you had 2 games in 3 weeks, my initial thought was I knew the Bears have been playing a decent football and winning late. So, sometimes that luck runs out. It is what it is. But I said at the beginning, I said the Bears and Packers are going to split this year, and they did. Now, I didn't know if the Bears were going to pull one off out of Lambeau and the Bears were going to win one back at home. But after the Packers won in Lambeau, I kind of figured that the Bears were going to hold court at Soldier Field, and they did. So what do I think is going to happen? I think it's going to be Bears-Packers. The Packers, they just got to get healthy, and I'm not sure if that's going to happen this year. That's the problem.
Right.
Or even next year, as we're right around the corner from New Year's Eve. The Packers, and I've said this I'm not saying anything that no other coach doesn't say. You got to be healthy, and you got to be healthy in the playoffs, and the Packers are limping in. I don't think the Bears are ready yet for prime time. I think the Packers will beat the Bears, but I don't know if they're going to get past that. I just think the Packers are just a little bit too beat up. I certainly don't want to see Baltimore anymore.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
That's a very astute prediction there, Jim. I'm impressed.
Yeah, and I've been pretty close with my stuff. Somebody said, I played football only in high school, and I had a couple running backs that ran over me. And I told my wife, I said, trying to tackle Derrick Henry. I said, imagine this. Imagine somebody's on the second floor of a building and they throw you down a refrigerator and you have to catch it. That's what trying to tackle Derrick Henry is like. He's a running refrigerator and you have to try to stop it. Not an easy thing. So,
and as our sports reporter earlier said, he's 32. I didn't realize he was that age and he's still running over people. It's impressive.
He's an impressive man. Living in Chicago, the one thing that I have become, and I think this is most of the people that I know from Green Bay and are Green Bay fans. Green Bay is a shrine to football. If you haven't been to Lambeau Field, you need to get to Lambeau Field. It's a great place to see a game.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing. The people treat you with respect, and they love that you're there watching the game in a neighborhood. It's in a neighborhood.
It's like Wrigley Field. Yeah, you drive by and it's like houses, and then, oh, wow, there's this football shrine. Absolutely.
It's amazing. And you don't get that kind of welcoming in Chicago. I will say that. So when you go to the game and if you're wearing a Packer jersey, you're gonna hear some insults. You're going to hear some things. And then all we do is we just sit there and say, oh, yeah, when's the last time you guys were in the playoffs? Oh, okay. Conversation's over, I think. So, I don't like to throw it back in their face, but, if you're going to come at me, you see, now the Bears are getting good. So they're getting a little confident and cocky, even though,
yeah,
they still have some ways to go.
They do it. This is so fun. Why didn't I have you on earlier to talk about Bears Packers? This is so great because I had you on to talk about this great New Year's Eve show. I didn't know you were going to come out here and be like Brent Musburger and talk with all this football knowledge. This is impressive, dude.
It's consuming. We are all emotionally consumed with our teams.
Right.
It was difficult to watch the other day. It really was. The one thing that was great about the other day was watching Malik Willis play. And, when he went down a week ago, my son and I are huge Packer fans, and, my daughter and my wife are, and, but I got a limited group. I said, Malik Willis is great. I said, he is a great backup quarterback. And we're not going to miss a beat. And he's got skills that Jordan Love doesn't have. And that's unfortunate. Jordan Love's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but he is not a running quarterback. And that's what Malik Willis is. And it's a different scheme to try to defend. So, you saw how well he did on Saturday, even in a losing effort. If it wasn't for Malik Willis, it was going to look a lot worse than it did.
This is great. Okay, Jim McHugh is here, folks. He is a Chicago-based comedian who books Memories Ballroom, and we're going to do a very short break. We haven't even gotten to the whole reason I had Jim here, because we got into Bear Packer talk, which is fun too. But we'll come back with Jim. He's going to tell you all about a great New Year's Eve show in Port Washington. That's on the other side of the break. And then we got Mike Kauth, folks. You don't want to miss any of this. Lots of shows still to come. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
From Denmark to De Pere, this is 97.9 WGBW.
It is never too early to start thinking about your higher education. It's Amanda with another new Wisco 411. And this time I'm talking about Express Admissions Day for Fox Valley Technical College. It's on Monday, January 5th from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. at multiple different locations, including Appleton and Oshkosh. All you have to do is walk in and get started. You don't need to register. They'll have a team ready to help you through every part of the process. Just make sure you bring your high school or college transcripts with you. To learn more, head to WGBW.fm and click events.
Today's job market is full of demand for skilled trade workers. Electricians, welders, mechanics, these and other trades are the backbone of every community. They're also a huge part in making sure the Army National Guard is always fulfilling its mission of service to our country and communities. Soldiers train to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. The skilled trades these soldiers perform are the same ones needed in today's civilian workforce. Army National Guard soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. With options from plumber to helicopter mechanic and everything in between, soldiers are able to select the trades that best fit their lives. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession and serve your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
The Elder Care Locator is here to help you live your best life as you age at home. Our call center advisors are ready to connect you with trustworthy local experts. Help is just a phone call away at 1-800-677-1116.
Welcome back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. You've got the Civic Media Radio Network. We are broadcasting statewide from beautiful downtown Green Bay. I'm actually even further north of there tonight because of the roads, but it is great to have you with me either way. My guest is Jim McHugh. He is a Chicago-based stand-up comedian and serious Packer fan, as we just heard, but he's really here to talk about a great show at Memories Ballroom. We're going to talk about that. And then Mike Kauth is waiting in the wings too. We'll have Mike in just a few minutes. But Jim books a great venue called Memories Ballroom in Port Washington. Jim, tell us about the New Year's Eve show tomorrow night.
Yeah, Pete, I've been very blessed to be able to help run, book this particular venue, Memories Ballroom in Port Washington, Wisconsin. And been doing it for about the last, 15, 17 years, something to that effect. Having great shows, a lot of great comics. Roland Roebuck and his staff, Lisa Green, they do a wonderful job. They do, we only do like 6-7 comedy shows a year, so it's not all the time. And they do a great job. They do a bunch of dinner theater, and they do a great job with their food service, and everybody does a wonderful job. We have a great show on New Year's Eve. This will be our third time with the All-Star Group, and I'm a part of, and I'm still doing stand-up. I know you're listening to Paul, and it started, and by the way, if you got to check out, I'm not sure, check out Paul's website. He does great cutting boards. I'm not sure if he's still doing those. He could ship those anywhere, but those are probably a lot of work. But
I believe he does. Yeah, I'm going to check it out after the show. Paul's very meticulous in everything he did, whether it was stand-up or woodworking, I'm sure. So
known Paul for a long time, as you as well, and hearing John Reggie's name mentioned and all the guys, it was great. We have a great show up in Memories tomorrow night, New Year's Eve. Show starts at 8 o'clock, but it's a dinner show. Get there around 6 o'clock to have dinner, and you'll have a wonderful time with that. On the show, we have Michelle Krajewski, Chicago-based comedian, very funny. I've known Michelle for a long time. Also, Des Mulrooney, who I know you just had on last night on the show. He
great
is
guy. Very funny.
Great funny kid, and certainly know his dad, TP, for many, many years when I first started. And to be working with his son, it's kind of makes you scratch your head going, what am I doing? Am I still doing this? What am I doing this? I should be making furniture.
All right.
And also, we have a very funny guy from just south of Madison, Wisconsin. David Schendlinger is on the show. I was going to see if we could have David on, but we just wasn't able to get the time worked out. But David, he just lives south of Madison, a very funny guy. You'll appreciate this analogy when I tell you who David reminds me of. He's got a long gray beard. He kind of looks like David Letterman a little bit. But he reminds me, for Chicago comedians and people that you would know, he's a kind of a cross between Jim Higgins and Paul Kelly.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's a lot of funny right there. That's great.
Yeah, very good joke writer, and just knows how to deliver a joke. I mean, we talk about Paul Kelly's still with us, lives down in North Carolina, and he's back doing stand-up a little bit here and there, and he's written all new stuff because Paul said he can't remember his old stuff.
Where can people get tickets, Jim? Where can they find out information about tomorrow night?
You go to memoriesballroom.com,
okay.
and you can check out their website and buy tickets. We may be close to a sellout, but check on that. I know there's various tickets arrangements, but it's a dinner show package is what they're getting. It's a great show. We have the show starting at the dinner first, the show from 8 to 10, and then we have DJ and dancing for the rest of the evening.
Wow.
And bringing in 2026 with a bang, and hopefully some healthier Packers on Saturday.
Yeah, there you go. Jim, we'll have to have you back before the big playoff game because this would be fun to do then when we have a little more time. But for now, knock 'em dead tomorrow night, buddy. Break a leg, and Happy New Year. This has been really a lot of fun. Thanks for being on the show.
All right, so beef tenderloin with a horseradish sauce. I didn't get the question because I probably was talking too much, but that's what I'm going with. Beef tenderloin on the grill, rare to medium rare, with a nice horseradish sauce. You can't go wrong.
Excellent choice, my friend. All right.
Happy New Year, Peter.
Thank you, Jim. Have a great night. Thanks, pal.
Bye-bye.
All right. That's Jim McHugh. Check out Memories Ballroom. All right. So you got Oshkosh Lights, Conrad. You got Memories Ballroom, some stand-up tomorrow night. And now I think we just got to keep this thing going. Let's at least get Mike on the show, introduce him, and then we'll come back and find out what's going on in Milwaukee tomorrow night. We're covering the state and all of our fun New Year's Eve events happening here in Wisconsin. So it is my pleasure to welcome he is a head coach at Comedy Sports. He has been there for decades at this Milwaukee institution. Such a great campus they have there. Mike Kauth joins me now as our last guest of 2025. Mike, no pressure. How you doing?
Whoa, I'm doing pretty good. Pete. Yeah, yourself?
I'm well. Well, thank you for your patience. We're running a few minutes behind, but I'm thrilled that you're on the show and that you're our last guest of the year, so to speak. It's good to see you. And before we get started, I have to ask you: do you have a favorite meat? It is National Bacon Day.
Whew. I will say it took me a while to come around on bacon. Growing up, I always felt that sausage, like breakfast sausage, got the raw deal. I just felt like bacon. Everyone was talking about bacon, and I was a sausage guy. I just felt, come on, I typically, and it's maybe cliche, you tell me, I tend to go for the T-bone steak.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You could do a lot worse. Let me just say for the record, too, and I don't think I've ever said this to another grown man, but that is adorable. Your little diatribe there on bacon and breakfast sausage. And I love that you're defending your favorite breakfast meat. That's outstanding. Con, how we doing on time?
Got about a minute.
Okay, Mike, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the news, and we're going to come back, and I want to jump in. First of all, Dick Chudnow was on the show. Loved it. Thank you for connecting me with Dick. He was another legend in Milwaukee there, so in addition to yourself. But that was a lot of fun. So let's come back after the news and talk about what is happening at Comedy Sports because tomorrow night, if you're in Milwaukee, that's a must-see, right?
Yes. It's going to be
All
a
right.
great time.
We'll have details to follow. The news is coming up next, and then we will be back with our last guest of 2025, and I couldn't imagine having a nicer guy take us into 2026, Mr. Mike Kauth. We are coming right back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Just another night, another vision of love. You feel joy, you feel pain, 'cause nothing will be the same. Just another night is all that it takes to understand the difference between lovers and fake. So baby, I talk to you in the night.
Civic Media wishes you peace, joy, and a wonderful holiday season.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. A major escalation in Venezuela. President Trump confirming the first known U.S. strike on Venezuelan soil. The attack targeted a loading dock by the shoreline. Trump claiming drugs were being loaded onto boats.
But very few details as to whether it was the military or the CIA that carried it out. But I think what you're seeing here is the full arsenal of U.S. military and covert capabilities being used against Venezuela right now.
ABC senior Pentagon correspondent Louis Martinez. Authorities in Bexar County, Texas, searching for 19-year-old Camila Mendoza Olmos, missing since Christmas Eve, say they found a body outside San Antonio, not far from her home, a gun found nearby, and similar clothes to what Olmos was last seen wearing, although authorities have not yet confirmed it's her. Flu cases are on the rise, according to the latest release from the Centers for Disease Control. The agency estimates 7.5 million Americans have caught the flu so far this season. That's a jump of about 3 million cases compared to last week. This is ABC News.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. A cloudy sky tonight and into tomorrow, a few flurries and periods of light snow. Temperatures generally hold steady in the teens. Colder as we look into New Year's Day, low around 0, high mid-teens. Cold again Friday, a little warmer for the upcoming weekend. Right now it's 13.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us.
Being blind doesn't look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. I know where to find support.
Learn more at fightingblindness.org, a public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
Welcome back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. And we are headed towards a new year, folks. And that is going to be really fun. All kinds of hope is right around the corner. I did Google fish as meat, and Chris Casper is right. But I always went by the Catholic Church thing that did not recognize fish as meat. So, Chris, you are my new Lord and Savior, and I bow to you, my friend. Joe from 414 says carne asada in tacos is his favorite meat. That's fantastic stuff. Hey, we've got Mike Kauth here, folks. He is a Comedy Sports head coach. He has been part of that organization for decades, and this great Milwaukee institution. Mike, as always, it is great to have you here, pal. How you doing tonight?
Oh, doing good. Doing good. I'm one of Milwaukee's favorite meats.
Hey, tell us what is going on tomorrow at Comedy Sports. You got a great New Year's Eve show going on.
Yeah, we do. So we have two shows, but I will say our early bird show is basically sold out. So put all your focus, if you're looking for something to do, on the 10:30 match. So at 10:30, that goes right up to midnight. And what's fun about it is all the fun that you have in a comedy sports show, competitive two teams competing in different improv games. But we go big, where it's unlimited champagne, unlimited soda. We've got a big buffet for everybody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we just kind of do up a nice big party for everyone.
And what better way, I mean, seriously, to laugh and bringing in the new year. I remember when I was a comedian in the 90s, and it's not even like stand-up isn't as much fun, I don't think, because it's you and another comic ringing in the New Year's and watching everybody else hug and kiss, and you're like shaking hands with this guy you barely know. But in improv, that's a whole community you've got going there at Comedy Sports, and what a great way to ring in the new year.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's, I've been lucky because the last, couple of decades, people put so much pressure, right, on where you're going to be on New Year's, what are you going to do?
Right.
And what better than, like you're saying, like a show, like go, just laugh, have fun. And for me, I have the extra, benefit of being around friends and just like putting on a show, making people laugh, and then party afterwards. So it's nice. Though I say that I'm probably going to go to bed right afterwards.
So what kind of crowd do you typically get, Mike? Is it couples? Is Comedy Sports, a lot of it is family friendly. Do you get families on New Year's Eve sometimes?
We do. That's why I think the early show sold out so quickly. Because it is, it's like that one starts at 8 and has like kind of a fake countdown, at the end. So you get to celebrate, but then you're, if you want, you're in bed by 11 kind of a thing.
Right.
But you can come out with the kids. Surprisingly, that 10:30 show, because all Comedy Sports shows are all ages. You can bring anybody. So there's definitely a mixture, like teenagers. Usually no one under 10 at the 10:30, match, but it's happened before. If a 9-year-old thinks they can stay up till midnight, they're welcome to it. And, all the soda they can drink. So they've got,
there you go.
They got
Drink a
it in
few
their
Mountain
favor.
Dews. That'll keep you swinging from the rafters at midnight. You just mentioned you're family friendly for the most part, comedy sports.
Mhm.
Mike, I know you weren't there maybe at its inception, but like, was that risky at the time? Like, you've got all these, like, Saturday Night Live could be edgy, Second City, a lot of these improv outfits, they're kind of edgy and they do swear. Was it risky at all? And maybe you don't know this because you weren't there right at the beginning, but was that a chance or it seems like it could backfire a little bit, but it hasn't.
Yeah, I think, like, for the time, it was something a little bit different, and I know that, Dick Chudnow had seen improv shows, and Bob Orvis, the 2 of them who started Comedy Sports, they had seen improv shows, and, sometimes if something's not working, you can go dirty, right? You can kinda
Right.
pull out a curse word, go dirty, get a laugh, um, and I think for them, they were like, well, let's challenge ourselves. So, like, they always had that idea, like, you could be anybody from any background and we'll still make you laugh.
Right.
So it is a nice added challenge. I think, like, it was a novel idea, but at the same time, that's just one of the, like, kind of like, okay, we all agree we're not going to go there.
Right.
But as far as like the comedy, I think it still works. It doesn't ever
Oh,
feel
yeah.
watered down. Doesn't ever feel like we're pulling punches a little bit. It's like the comedy's still out there. It's still
Oh, yeah.
pushing it. It's just not doing it with certain four-letter words or uh, pulling forward certain imagery.
Right. And I know a lot of like the alumni that you guys have put through, Tom Clark, Eric Price, and those guys have horrible potty mouths off stage. So the fact that they could come in and do a clean show is really
Yeah.
impressive as to what you guys have taught them. So my
Tom
guest
Clark,
is
the bad
Mike
boy of
Kaut. He
comedy.
is a head coach at Comedy Sports in Milwaukee. It is an absolute institution. If you have not checked out a show at Comedy Sports, do yourself a favor. And even if it's not tomorrow night on New Year's Eve, although based on what Mike said, it sounds like a blast, but get over and check out Comedy Sports. Mike, we talked about Dick Chudnow, and he was so much fun to have on the show.
Oh, great.
How active was he when you started at Comedy Sports?
He wasn't as active when I started. I started really playing in 2001.
Okay.
And
Wow.
by that time, like, he was definitely around. I remember one of the first, like, kind of corporate shows, private shows that I did was just him and I as a two person.
Oh, wow. Was that
Which
pressure?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I'm still so new. I'm just like, oh, this will be fun. And that, like, now that I've done it a while, I'm like, oh boy, there's a lot riding on Dick's shoulders to make, running the
Yeah.
show, explaining all the games, and here he's got a rookie, just smiling there, happy to be there. So, yeah. And what's great with Dick is he will still come to our company practices every so often because he'll get up there on our field and play around. He just doesn't do as many. He really doesn't do any public matches. But I was lucky enough. I do a show that I produced called Hoopla, which is like a storytelling and improv show. And we were lucky enough to get him to come out and tell some stories for us to improvise off of. And that was really fun. So he's still willing. You just got to kind of convince him.
He was so funny because I don't know if I told you this, but when I had David Zucker on, I said to him, I said, it's amazing that you and your brother and Jim Abrahams all grew up in Shorewood, went to Shorewood High School, then UW-Madison, and then started Kentucky Fried Theater. You all stayed together through all this, then moved to LA and had success. And he goes, and don't forget about Dick Chudnow. Well, I didn't even know that. And I said, oh, that's incredible. He goes, yeah, he stayed behind in Milwaukee. But when Dick was on, I think I asked him, I said, how did you end up back in Milwaukee? He said, I was in a bad marriage or something like that. But he was very honest, but he also, I mean, he's done pretty well for himself. So good for him.
Oh yeah. I think, he's one of those people who you wish would write a book, right?
Yeah.
Just to know all the stories. Cause, like, I didn't realize he was out in Los Angeles for as long as he was,
Right.
and even I think he said he was a teacher out there for a little while, like a public school teacher, and
Oh,
just
really?
living all these crazy, all these lives in one lifetime.
And it's absolutely remarkable that he was part in all four of those guys had such success, and that Dick was able to do it back in his hometown is really impressive as well, almost more
Yeah.
so. What else is coming up at Comedy Sports, Mike? Are you guys going on the road anytime soon? Do you have other events coming up there in Milwaukee?
Yeah, we have, this is kind of our busy season. So we do a lot of, private shows and corporate gigs that happen. Like you said, like the regular Comedy Sports matches every Friday and Saturday, 7:30 and 10 o'clock. And, the nice thing is we have two theaters. So our main theater is always the Comedy Sports matches. But we'll do some stuff in our other theater. And that's where I'm lucky enough where I get to produce some of my own comedy. And January 9th, I have a show coming up. I think I told you the title of it. I don't think I can say it.
Yeah. Can you hint at what it is? We can hint on this show. I drop hints all the time.
Oh yeah, it's your tea, right? Week is what it is. I was like, in my head, I was like, did I go too far? I paused, but
you're fine.
Okay,
and that's not quite as family friendly, but still,
Yeah, it's not a Comedy Sports match. It just happens to take place on one of their stages there. But it's filled with a lot of the great Comedy Sports improvisers. And that's something that, we talk to the audience about the crummy week that they've had, things that stressed them out, bugged them. And then we do improv based off of that. So we let the audience kind of just that cathartic release of the stuff that irritated them. And then we try and make it comedy, or we do make it comedy in hopes that kind of exercises the demon of the bad week. So that's always a fun show.
So what, like you've heard you just mentioned you were there since 2001. Have you ever gotten a suggestion? I know some nights you feel on and some nights you don't, but have you ever been stumped where it's like, man, I got nothing. Like this suggestion was terrible. I'm not coming up with anything. What do you do during those moments?
During those moments, like you can kind of, the nice thing about improv is you can kind of pull from a variety of different things of like, if you get a suggestion, how do you feel about it? How do you react emotionally? Like even if you have nothing, or does it connect to something that reminds you of a situation or something you run into? The tougher thing is like, we'll play, Comedy Sports has a game that's 185. It's a standard pun based game. So 185 blank, walk into a bar, bartender says, sorry, we're closed, and 185 blank reply with a punny punchline. Now, sometimes people will yell out stuff that you just have no, wordplay, no joke or anything like that. And there's like little ways you can kind of get out of that. That's where you just kind of try and rely on your hopeful charm, or just kind of like comedic chops to like kick in. But there's been times like, what was it? There was something like someone, we had asked for, who's from the furthest away from Wisconsin, and it was like Germany. And I was like, okay, well, what do you find a lot in Germany that you don't necessarily find in Wisconsin? And they're like Germans. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, I tread lightly here with my jokes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you've been there 23, 24 years. And I remember the night I met you there, I was like, what a great space just to hang out in. What has kept you there so long? Your love of improv, or the community that's been built there? A little bit of both. What keeps you there?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. It's the freedom to be as creative as I want to be, but it's also that element of the community. Like, not only are the people that I've known for like decades, some of them still there, is there's new people coming in and exploring and discovering improv, and then that gets you excited. So it's just like this constantly like regenerating community of excitement.
That's awesome. All right, Mike Houth is here. We'll keep Mike for a couple more minutes. We're going to do a very short break. We'll come back and tell you once again where you should go tomorrow night on New Year's Eve. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/investor day.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Wisconsin. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
The holidays can stir up a lot. Stress, loneliness, even pressure to drink or use. If you're feeling anxious, depressed, or just finding it harder to cope, you don't have to wait for things to get worse. Hazelden Betty Ford offers treatment and counseling that fits your life and your needs. Call 1-855-489-2383 or visit hazeldenbettyford.org. Change starts when you do, and you're closer to feeling better than you think. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Wisconsinites will listen to millions of hours of holiday music, partly because it warms the heart, and partly because it helps drown out the sound of scraping windshields at 6 a.m. Happy holidays from all of us with Civic Media.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
You are listening to your local Civic Media radio station on air. Thank you. Did you know we are always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app too? And if you miss a show or game, find it wherever you get your podcasts or on our website, civicmedia.us.
We are the National Park Foundation, and together with you, we're creating a future where every person, every generation gets their chance at an unforgettable moment. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, Civic.
Welcome back. All right. We're in the home stretch here, folks. This is our last live show of 2025. As I mentioned, we will have highlight shows throughout the rest of the week. So please still join us here. We put together some great moments from over the year and from over the last few weeks. Right now, we have a few more minutes with our current guest and last guest of 2025. Mike, that's going on your resume, right? Mike Kauth is here, folks, from Comedy Sports.
Yeah, thank you for having me. That is quite an honor. And I will say, thank you so much for having me on as often as you do. It's always great being here. You're fantastic to talk to, Pete. Conrad always does an amazing job, too, working so hard and making sure everything is lined up. You guys do a fantastic show.
Thank you, sir. If you're ever up this way, Mike, in Northeast Wisconsin, and you've got a couple guys with you, or you're doing a traveling thing or a couple girls or whatever, come into the studio. We'll do some improv in the studio. I would love it. And I'll stay out of your way. I promise.
No. It's funny because I'd love to have you come down and do the Hoopla show I was talking about.
Oh, man.
And that would be so much fun. We got to figure that out for sure.
We'll definitely talk. Sure. Yeah, that would be a blast. All right. So tell us one more time, the New Year's Eve at Comedy Sports, where can people get information and just a brief thumbnail before we let you go?
Yeah, go to czmke.com and click on events and or tickets. And the show, you can start checking in at 8:30 p.m. for that 10:30 show where you get buffet, champagne, soda, all those goodies.
Wow.
So yeah, that's where to do it. That's where to get your tickets online. Join us. It'll be fun.
I love it. Mike, are you watching anything you could recommend? Binge watching, a movie you just saw?
Some of your viewers may have heard of a British show, Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep going back to that right now, and I'm
Nice.
just loving. So it's all up for free on YouTube. Check out Taskmaster. They just had a Champion of Champions special. Anything you'd recommend, Pete? Anything I should check out?
Well, speaking of Taskmaster, Task I liked on HBO was very good, a cop show, and I would steer clear. And I'm going to get some pushback on this, Mike, at some point. But Pluribus on Apple TV, not a fan. Like the first episode was great, and then it was just a snooze for like 8 episodes. So
Yeah, I heard someone joke that Vince Gilligan is very good at taking 15 minutes of plot and stretching it
over a whole season.
over a whole season.
And I'm not kidding. Like he did that at Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad to open a show. There'd be this kind of, cool sequence where you just kind of go with it. It breathes a little bit. And then this whole season has been like that. It's like,
yeah,
but it's already been renewed. So what do I know? What am I
Yeah.
doing wrong, Mike? I'm just talking to my pals, Mike and Paul and Jim and all these guys. And hopefully we're a lot more exciting than Pluribus. But this was fun, buddy. Thank you. Happy New Year. Have a great show tomorrow. Break a leg. And we will talk soon after the new year, I'm sure.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you. My best to you and your family. Thanks for
Right.
always being so great to me, Pete. Appreciate
Always,
it.
Mike. Back at you, bud. All right.
Sure.
All right. That's Mike House. Check out, folks. I'm telling you, and I know I'm saying this, but like people in Milwaukee, I know there are tons of them that have never been to Comedy Sports, even though they are this great institution there. So check out Comedy Sports, especially on New Year's Eve. Con, did you ever go to Comedy Sports when you were going to
No,
school
I
there?
didn't. I didn't know it was I didn't really look, I guess, but I didn't know it was a thing when I was living down there. Now I'm itching to go to a show.
Yeah, it's just a great experience. We went probably less than a year ago, and I just loved it. It's great. Improv is so much fun, especially when it's being done by people who are really good at it, like everybody at Comedy Sports. All right, so we've got a couple texts here to close out. Steve from Florida says favorite meat is good tenderloin, medium rare. What did you say, Con? Did you say medium rare? You said no. You said well done.
Yeah, I like it rubber.
So you and your dad cannot stand over the same grill.
No, I like medium, not medium rare, medium.
All right, fair enough. I'm probably inclined to go more with you, but I respect Steve's opinion, and he's still in Wisconsin. So welcome, Steve,
Yeah.
and enjoy your stay. Steady Eddie from the 608 says, Pete, you and Conrad are crushing it tonight. Well, thank you, Steady Eddie. He says you saved your best for the last broadcast of the year. I asked my phone about whether fish is meat. It said, yes, fish is considered meat, as it is the flesh of an animal that is consumed. When I was a good Catholic boy, I enjoyed Friday night fish fries. Catholics were forbidden from eating meat on Fridays under the penalty of going to hell. Fish seemed like a meat to me, but the deep fried cod was so good, I wasn't going to question the Pope on this one. These days, pardon me, often I eat meat on Fridays. He says, parenthetically, I'm a Reformed Catholic. A steak cooked just right and a baked potato with butter and sour cream is heavenly, but sometimes I will eat fish on Fridays just for the halibut. You ever heard that joke, Conrad? Just for the halibut?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that.
Steady Eddie just heaped compliments on us, and we're making fun of his joke. Steady Eddie says, Happy New Year. Back at you, buddy. Love your texts, and always fun to get a Steady Eddie text. I hope you have a great holiday this weekend. I hope everybody has a great New Year's. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Stay at home and party. Watch Netflix. Go to Comedy Sports. Go to Memory
Stranger
Ballroom.
Things.
Stranger Things drops tomorrow night too, the finale of the whole series. So you've got that to look forward to as well. Or the Chevy Chase documentary called I'm Chevy
I know you're
Chase.
looking forward to that.
And you're not, I'm very much looking forward to it. Complicated legacy that man has left us, although he hasn't left yet. So, but I would like to thank all my guests who have helped us scoot into the new year. Mike Clemens was here. Always fun to talk to Mike. Rick Helms from Oshkosh, the Oshkosh Festival of Lights. My pal Paul Gilmartin, my other pal Jim McHugh, and my new pal Mike Kauth. It has been a fun show. Conrad, be careful tomorrow night.
I'll try.
I expect to see you in that seat Monday.
Maybe.
All right. Try to stop by if you can. Okay. This is Pete Schwaba on behalf of the lovable producer Conrad. Not only good night, Wisconsin, but Happy New Year, Wisconsin. Be safe, everybody, and have a great weekend. Good night, Wisconsin.